of the Sir Graham Henry Trophy, which is a trophy that the New Zealand under-85 representative team take on the Sri Lankan Tuskers for. Sri Lanka led today by Ahali, or as he is known, Taridut Chaturanga. Ahali is his pet name here up in, and Jared Percival continues as captain of the New Zealand under-85s. There's an 11-point gap that Jared Percival takes into this game, with his team leading not comfortably but just enough to make this a really important encounter for everyone involved here. So we've got the Nittawela grounds. It's filling up nicely behind me, and I've got with me Jamie Wall, senior journalist from New Zealand, who is traveling with the team. And also we have last year's captain and player from this encounter, the inaugural encounter of the Sir Graham Henry Trophy, Nigel Rathwatha, joining us as we look at this pre-show as well. Sri Lanka warming up just behind us, and on the other end of the field, the New Zealand under-85s warming up as well. It's a hot day, as I said before. It's humid, and Jamie and Nigel are pretty much in their shades. I can't wear shades, unfortunately, but it is a really scorching day, Jamie. This is not the kind of weather you're used to playing rugby in.
You don't mind me wearing my shades, do you?
No,
because I need them, because yeah, you're right. This is not what we're used to. Maybe if an absolute preseason game played in February in Auckland, some of these guys would have faced these sort of conditions, but this is very hot. I've been told by the locals it's hot even for them, so I don't feel so bad standing here absolutely sweating my ring out. But yeah, I feel like these conditions are going to pose just that much more of a challenge for this New Zealand team, who come in after a game last week that they probably got challenged a little bit more than they probably wanted to.
Let's have a look at the weather and what we can expect later on in the afternoon. Well, the bit of overcast conditions coming up behind us. It says it's 30 Celsius, feels much more than that. And the wind, of course, 7 kilometers per hour. That might pick up a little later on in the day. Nigel, you've played a lot of rugby here at the Nittawela Stadium. What can we expect later on in the day?
I mean, still looks pretty clear. I hope it stays the same, because our boys will love these conditions. They love these conditions, so hopefully they'll have a good cracker towards the game.
Lots of changes, of course, in the team as well. We'll have a look at what happened at the racecourse grounds last week in what Sri Lanka turned out to be a really close encounter. Maybe conceded maybe 5 or 6 points more than they really wanted to. But in the end, Lasindu Ishan Karanatilaka's side kept Sri Lanka in the game when they came here up to Nittawela. The haka, of course, the famous Kamate, and Sri Lanka starting off scoring. Nice inside ball from Dore to Akash. Nigel, were you surprised at how easily we cut them open?
No, I wasn't surprised, because Akash is a very supportive player. He's always on his feet looking for work, and going that inside line from Dore was the great option, bashing through the New Zealand defense over to score the try.
Second assist for Dore as well, but unfortunately he was charged down, and there was a charge down on the other end as well, Jamie, and New Zealand quite lucky to get those 2 tries early on without too much effort.
Correct, but you make your own luck. That came from some serious pressure after what probably was some serious words behind the post after conceding those tries.
And he went right down to the wire as well. New Zealand managing to really pile on the pressure after their second forward pack came on, the big front five that came on, and who will be starting today, Jamie. That was a big tactic that was used. The bench really making a difference with your number 8 as well, the replacement number 8. They're all starting today. Was that a result of the impact that they made?
It certainly feels like it as well, with a bit of team policy. Obviously, the New Zealanders have brought over a big squad. Everyone is wanting to get a run. So this is part of a wider plan, you would think. But you're absolutely right. The bench made a massive difference. It felt like a different game in that last 20 minutes, and it was because of the impact of that New Zealand bench.
Looking at the turnovers, not too much in it, of course. Handling errors, also not too much in it, but that penalty count, Nigel, 16-9, that's what they'll want to fix today.
Yeah, I think that's the most crucial part of our game. We need to fix that. I think once we fix that, everything should be all right.
Navin Marasinghe going close. And if this ball went a little earlier, you think that Sri Lanka would probably have walked it in, but Harsha Madhuranka to Murshid Zubair, and he went for the long ball. He's a great distributor, but just a couple of inches too flat for the referee's liking, Nigel.
Yeah, I think it was a very crucial part of the game. I know if he got that execution right, we would have been right at them.
Bit of a miss from Sri Lanka's point of view. Jamie, if that try had been scored, things would have changed the momentum.
I think so. I 100% agree with Nigel. It was a crucial point. It felt like the heads dropped, the body language dropped there a little bit, and you see a lot of what teams in black feed on is just that slightest little bit of opportunity, and they saw that, took that in, sucked them down, and really made the Sri Lankans play at the New Zealanders' level, which began to be much more of a run-and-gun game. They cashed in. Didn't score the tries that they wanted, mind you. Had to rely on a bit of trickery off that short line-out, but still came away with what ended up being a reasonably comfortable scoreline.
Some key moments for New Zealand as well. And this was where they managed to score the final try. Matt Treby coming on as a replacement hooker. And Sri Lanka just falling asleep in that last few minutes. And that's probably the experience and the ruthlessness coming through, Jamie.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like what we talked about at the start of last week's games about owning those key moments. And it's something that these guys, the New Zealand team, playing throughout school, throughout clubs, they've had to do that quite a bit. Probably not something that these guys have had to do, the Sri Lankan players have had to do on such a regular basis. So it feels almost like the muscle memory that kicks in, the mental state that you have, knowing that you've been in this position before, is what got New Zealand home last week, and it's also what they're going to be banking on if it comes down to the wire this time around.
Nigel, very quickly, the intensity is much higher at international rugby. How do you deal with that?
It's the mindset, you're playing big guns, big nations, big rugby nations, so you have to get your mindset and be ready. Every second counts. It's not the 80 minutes that you have to focus, it's second by second. So you keep focusing second by second, and by the end of the 80 minutes, you probably have your goals.
Well, that's sage advice from a man who's been there and done that. We'll be back after the commercial break.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samagin pirimin sadahamai.
When tea meets sparkle, refreshment gets a whole new twist. Introducing sparkling iced teas, lightly carbonated, crafted from carefully brewed tea, and infused with natural flavors for a clean, crisp taste in every sip.
Live Rugby.
Prima Kotumi Fantamari.
Live Rugby.
Prima Kotumi Fantamari.
When tea meets sparkle, refreshment gets a whole new twist. Introducing sparkling iced teas, lightly carbonated, crafted from carefully brewed tea, and infused with natural flavors for a clean, crisp taste in every sip.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samagin pirimin sadahamai.
When tea meets sparkle, refreshment gets a whole new twist. Introducing sparkling iced teas, lightly carbonated, crafted from carefully brewed tea, and infused with natural flavors for a clean, crisp taste in every sip.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samagin pirimin sadahamai. Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samagin pirimin sadahamai. Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samagin pirimin sadahamai. Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samaging pirimin sadahamai.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Love rugby,
Live rugby.
terima kutumi fun tamari.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samaging pirimin sadahamai.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Welcome back live to the Nittawela ground, where we were just trying not to interrupt the warm-up for the Sri Lankan forward pack. They did an outstanding job last week at the racecourse grounds against the New Zealand under-85s, and they look like they're getting ready to smash this New Zealand pack back like they did in the first scrum of the last week's game. Jamie, that was a surprise rate of knots that first scrum went back, and I think New Zealand took a bit of time to recover, but recover they did.
I'm just glad we got out of the way of those guys while they were warming up, because certainly it feels like there's a bit of fire, especially around the scrum warm-up, because that is something that went really, really well for the Sri Lankans last week and something they're definitely going to target. So, yeah, a lot of pressure on a New Zealand forward pack that's featuring 7 changes in it, only Josh Gallett being the only man to keep his place from last week. So, yeah, it's a big one, especially considering there's a debut in the front row with Ollie Dunn-Parent as well. Big pressure on him at prop. Try scorer Matt Treby as well comes in, and Tom Rowland. So you'd have to think that the first scrum we're going to be paying a lot of attention to. Billy Sloan comes in for his debut at lock as well, alongside the experienced Jack Lady. Very, very highly rated youngster Josh Evans gets a start in the loose forward as well, coming out of Invercargill in South. Actually his first time ever leaving Invercargill, so it's nice for him to come up here and experience something. I think that we've talked about the weather, and it's very, very different to where he's from.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got the New Zealand card coming up right now, and as Jamie said, almost an entirely new front row. James Purden stays on, Josh Gallett rather stays on, because he was the one who had an outstanding defensive game last week, but we'll talk about that in a bit. This is the team arrival, and the messaging in the bus might have been a little different than it was last week, Jamie.
I think some of it was, yes, but some of it was also very much the same, and the message from Coach Ben Cinnamon was very much to be present, stay in the moment, and like we talked about earlier, own those crucial moments, which is just a key tenet of New Zealand rugby. Like I said before, smell the fear, get in there and take full toll of anything wrong that the opposition does. They're wearing a black jersey. That's a psychological advantage that it can't be measured in any sort of numbers or anything like that, and so it's something that they know that they're carrying with them, and it's something that we know that is going to play a big part in this game.
Let's hear from the New Zealand assistant coach now.
So John, first of all, the first game was quite closer than expected. So thoughts on that performance in the first game by the boys?
Yeah, you know, the first game was closer than people thought, but I think the Sri Lanka team really tuned up to play. They played a physical game, they took the boys on up front, and I think they're very much improved from last year. So I think the team's point of view that we weren't sort of shocked at how good they played. We knew the game would be tough, and then I think the game was played, you know, quite a tight game through the forwards and some good cooking. So I think it'll be very much like that today.
So as a former World Cup winner, your thoughts on the Sri Lankan side, on the talent that you saw?
Oh, they got some great players. You know, you saw some speed out wide, you saw some physicality in the front row and in the loose forward trio, and you know they're getting better every year. So more games like this will help the Sri Lankan Union, their players develop, and you know it's great for our guys too with the under 85s comp getting national exposure.
So the New Zealand side, they have made some changes. So tell us a bit about the changes and the new players coming in.
Look, we wanted to make sure everyone played minutes. You know, it's a long trip. A lot of guys have family coming over here to watch them, so we wanted to make sure that everyone felt part of the team. They had contributed to the team on the field as well off the field, and the guys they've brought in, they're great players. They're going to do a job for us. They bring a little bit slightly different skill set. You know, Billy in the second row, he plays back row, so he'll add a little bit more punch in our forwards. some great speed in the backs with another 9 and fullback coming in.
Finally, so it was an unlights game in the first leg, but now we'll be playing in this scorching heat. So thoughts on the change of conditions?
The boys enjoyed Kandy, coming out of the city into the jungle. I think the guys really embraced it. It's very much like home for a lot of the Pacifica boys in Fiji and Tonga and Samoa with the heat, so they're quite used to it. So I think we're looking forward to the game. Nice to play under the sun and just get rip into it.
All the best for the game.
Thank you.
Doesn't hurt to have a World Cup winner in your squad taking over your forwards. John Afoa there. And of course, New Zealand have also had double World Cup winner, former All Black captain Kieran Reid in and around their squad. Jamie, it doesn't hurt to have that kind of resource coming through.
Not at all, not at all. John's been a fantastic forwards coach on this team. Great to have him along. And Kieran's involvement last night, presented the jerseys to the team and offered some pretty frank advice on what wearing a black jersey means and what's expected of this team when they run out on the field.
And this is a Sri Lanka team arriving, and we talked about Kieran Reid and John Afoa, World Cup winners who played the game at the highest level, being in and around the squad. Nigel, you were called on to help with Sri Lanka preparations last week. How did that look in the camp? What was the mood and what were you able to contribute?
Oh well, yes. I was engaged with the training sessions, and I think the boys are looking very sharper than I guess last week. They were more excited for this weekend's game. The backs are looking quite fit and very sharp as well. So hopefully, if the forwards can get the game together, the backs can finish it off.
Let's hear from the Sri Lanka coach now.
Yeah, I think the boys played their heart out in the first round. So I think the boys have been working hard for this leg as well. But in that leg, I think we made some crucial mistakes at some finer points. So we need to brush up those mistakes, and hopefully the boys will do much better in the second leg.
There are some changes in the side in the 20 minutes. There are 3 changes and there are some technical changes as well. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, one change was actually forced. I think Janidu is injured, so we had to look at that change. We also felt that we need to strengthen our bench, because we kind of lost it in the last 15 minutes in the first leg. And we also thought that we need more experience in those playmaker roles. So that is why we have made those changes.
What experience, how much does it mean for the boys on the return of Margudikos and two experienced players?
Yeah, I think the main purpose of bringing those 2 experienced boys is to try and stabilize the team. Also to give that extra ball carrying option. So I think them coming in, that the boys also feel much confident for this match. Yeah, just have to see how the toss falls out. We all know that there's a big wind factor up in here, and we also know that they have had 2 changes at 9 and 15. So we are expecting them to bring a heavy kicking game as well. So we just have to wait and see how our boys adapt in the first 20 minutes. Thank you very much.
Welcome back to Nittawela Rugby Stadium, where we just heard from Dushant Lukeda, the Sri Lankan coach. Nigel, you've played a lot of rugby with him. You've been in the Sri Lanka rugby team with him. You've heard him coach as well. How is Dushant Lukeda going to be looking at this encounter?
Oh, well, he's more focused on fast game. So he's trying to play a fast game. Hopefully the backs will get more ball, and it's a good pitch to run. And with the crowd closed in the crowd, I think it's going to be an amazing game.
So New Zealand making a lot of changes in the front. They've got almost a new forward pack. Sri Lanka making a lot of changes in the backs. We'll talk about that when we have a look at the team cards now coming up. Here's the New Zealand team. Lots of changes. Jamie, talk us quickly through that.
Yeah, just quickly, obviously a whole new front row and one in the second row that I mentioned before. Like I said before, Josh Evans really highly rated on the blindside. Look for his work at the ruck. Suji Vosikata coming in at number 8. You saw the impact he had last weekend. Jackson Ephrahims and Francis Morrison joined the squad this week and been rushed straight into the starting lineup. Francis Morrison, a guy who made a massive impact when the team was here last year. Shifts Ben Kelt to the wing, solid midfield, and then of course most of the guys who started last week and now find themselves on the bench. So the challenge for them is going to create the same impact that the guys did last week, because like I said before, that was a turning point of this game. And head coach Ben Cinnamon's message, again, like I said, just stay cool. Fire in the belly, ice on the brain though. Make the right decisions and own those moments.
Absolutely. Nittawela crowd, and Nigel, you yourself will remember Francis Morrison quite well. Scored a bucket load of tries in Nittawela last week, and he's, unfortunately for the Sri Lankans, he's finished his New Zealand touch rugby commitments, and here he is now. But Sri Lanka sticking with the same front five. They made a change with Omalka Gunaratne coming in, bringing the veteran in to maybe create a few holes in Sri Lanka's defense, and also a new 9-10 combination. Nigel, how important is that going to be?
Yeah, and Omalka coming in is going to add more power, and Kavin Costa coming in is going to add more experience. So power and experience is Leuki looking for. I think two coming in will change the game today, I guess.
And then it's a position you've played in both times, so you've got 10 and 15. Murshid Zubair shifting from 10 to 15. Is that a huge shift, or is he capable of doing that?
I think he's capable. Dore has been playing the entire club season number 10, so I don't think it's a big shift. He can keep shifting around with Tenuka. I think those two options will be great, and also the kicking options there for us.
Manuka Ruberu also coming in at number 12, and in the replacements, it's a 6-2 bench for coach Dushant Luke, so he's really chancing his arm, making sure he can take those New Zealanders on up front, and hopefully there won't be any injuries for Sri Lanka in the back. So that's what he's banking on. But it looks like it's going to be a game of real tactical arm wrestle. Do you think it's going to be as fast and open as the first half last week was?
I feel like it's probably going to be even faster, given who the New Zealanders have selected. I mentioned Francis Morrison before. The idea is to get him out on the edges of that defence and get him into those gaps. That is what New Zealand's entire attacking game plan is going to be around. They couldn't quite get it going for about the first hour last week, but so there's going to be a massive focus to make sure that they get some phases going, even if it means kind of not really going anywhere, just to simply hang on to the ball. So that's where the focus lies. Nigel mentioned before that the Sri Lankans are going to want to be playing an up-tempo game as well. That's going to be music to the New Zealanders' ears. But they have to execute. One thing I really liked about the Sri Lankan game last week was the kicking. I think last year it felt a bit aimless. This time around it felt very targeted, very strategic, and the kick chase was very, very much on as well. So if they can do that in tandem with some good attacking play, which they kind of couldn't really get going themselves, then they're going to give this New Zealand team a lot of trouble.
Finally from you, Nigel, Sri Lanka also were looking to play a fast game last week, but will that play into the New Zealanders' hands, or do we have an option? Do we have to go with that game plan?
We have two options. We either play a slow game, which is going to be hard for us. So we need to choose a faster game, because I think we're fit, fast, good on our feet, handling's good, the ground conditions are good, so we need to play a fast game today.
Well, let's hope we can do that and hang on to the ball. Let's hope New Zealand will come to the party as well. And we hope for 80 minutes of outstanding rugby. Jamie Wall, Nigel Rothapta, thanks very much. We'll see you in the commentary box.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence. Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence. Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samaging pirimin sadahamai.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
When tea meets sparkle, refreshment gets a whole new twist. Introducing sparkling iced teas, lightly carbonated, crafted from carefully brewed tea, and infused with natural flavors for clean, crisp taste in every sip. When tea meets sparkle, refreshment gets a whole new twist. Introducing sparkling iced teas, lightly carbonated, crafted from carefully brewed tea, and infused with natural flavors for clean, crisp taste in every sip.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samaging pirimin sadahamai.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samaging pirimin sadahamai.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence. Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
Love rugby.
Live rugby.
Prima Kotumi. Fun Tamari.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samaging pirimin sadahamai.
Ayubowan kia ora to everyone joining us on this live telecast brought to you from the Nittawela Stadium here in the Hill capital. Kandy has turned up in numbers to Nittawela to witness this incredible clash that we are all lining up. There has been quite a bit of the following from New Zealand as well. They've made the trip and having some chats with them, they've absolutely enjoyed what they've experienced here at New Zealand, and this is what the two teams will be battling out for. Sir Graham Henry Challenge Trophy for this for what is turning out to be an annual encounter, and we are absolutely delighted to have this quality and also to be able to compete here in Sri Lanka. What a spectacle for everybody in the island nation. Sri Lanka, of course, plenty of support for the All Blacks from the locals as well. The New Zealand under-85 team has been received with a lot of love. A couple of minutes earlier, the home skipper, Tharinda Chaturanga, spinning the coin, and Percival getting the first win of the game. Using the side. Tharinda Chaturanga a little surprised. Troy Fernando, the man in charge of the referees. Massive opportunity for Tharinda Chaturanga as well. The man who will be leading the Tuskers out today at his home club grounds, where he's played a lot of rugby, and very, very passionate fans who will be delighted to see what the Sri Lankan Tuskers will have to offer. Well, if you thought the game is going to be exciting, I have three men who's made a very exciting journey from the grounds up here. Never an easy task, navigating way through a packed Kandy crowd, but I think Nigel would tell you it's easier today than coming through a Kandy crowd which comes down on a Sunday evening for a Kandy Sports Club game.
Good evening, Sudarshana. Good evening, everyone watching, wherever you might be, whether it's in New Zealand or in another part of Sri Lanka, because most of Kandy is here at the Nittawela grounds. And yeah, I'm breathing a little hard because getting up to this commentary box was a bit of an obstacle course. Jamie, first time?
Yeah, it's definitely the first time I've had to face that many obstacles on the way to a commentary spot, but it's worth the effort. Good view from up here. And wonderful crowd has rolled in. We've been talking about the crowd all week. Kandy's been a wonderful spot. As you can see on the screen, there's plenty of New Zealand relatives and friends that have made the trip over, and they've really enjoyed it here this week. It's been fantastic.
Nigel, coming up from where we did the pre-show, we got stopped for a few selfies. Everyone knows your name. Do you miss it?
Yeah, I do miss it, but you know, life goes on. You have to move on. But every time I come here, I get something, a couple of selfies, so it's okay.
Well, the crowd really has built up, Sudarshana. It's an 11-point ball game. You're well used to this when looking at the biggest game of your season, the Rugby. But 11 points, is it just a few points too far for Sri Lanka, or is it still within our grasp?
Well, Sri Lanka will rule that last score, isn't it? Otherwise, it was a 6-point ball game up until that very last score. New Zealand managed to get through. But Sri Lanka will believe if they can put New Zealand under pressure. Yes, 11 points is a difficult task, but Sri Lanka will be more focused on winning this game. That is going to be improvement for Sri Lanka. If you look at the last 3 games that they played against the under-85, first game here at Nittawela, it was a runaway game for the New Zealand under-85. They improved in Colombo. Come this tour, they have put on a solid performance in Colombo, and they will want to back it up and deliver a big performance here and hopefully get the W.
Well, the teams are walking out of the tunnel to thunderous applause here at this Nittawela Stadium. Match Commissioner Dilroy Fernando making sure everything is ship-shape. And that's the Sir Graham Henry Trophy. Wonderful design as well, the hands of the 2 countries coming together in rugby. And we were privileged enough to have Sir Graham Henry, Ted himself, with us last year, Jamie. We were missing him, but his spirit lives on in this trophy.
And what a wonderful trophy it is too. And something that's really goes to show what can happen when rugby thinks outside the box a little bit. Who would have thought just even a couple of years ago that we'd be sitting here in Sri Lanka watching a weight grade rugby team from New Zealand play against the Sri Lankan national team for a trophy named after a World Cup winning coach. It really is something in front of this passionate crowd. It's awesome. It's really awesome, and I can't thank Sir Graham Henry enough for helping make this happen.
And now the national anthems of both teams.
Right now for the Sri Lanka national anthem.
Surendra
Well, the two national anthems have been sung by pretty much everyone who knows them in the crowd. The New Zealand national anthem is no stranger to us, Jamie, because they watch a lot of All Black games in this part of the world. And two big All Blacks in Sri Lanka as well, John Afoa and Kieran Reid. Good to see that players of that caliber supporting the under-85 venture.
Yeah, absolutely. And not just that, but also this venture itself. A lot of interest back home in New Zealand for this, and having Kieran and John here just adds to that. And hopefully it means that next year this is going to become something bigger and better. You can see Kieran there shaking hands with the players alongside David Pine, the High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, who's also played a big role in this happening as well as the sponsors, which have made their presence felt all over the stadium. And of course the Minister for Sport for Sri Lanka as well. Obviously good mates with Jared Percival there.
And it's a really proud moment for Ahali as well. Tarandu Chaturanga back at his home ground, captaining his country. And the Honourable Sports Minister, Mr. Sunil Kumar Agamage, he's enjoying the moment as well as a New Zealand representative team doing battle here in Sri Lanka, followed on by our generous sponsors, Maliban and His Excellency David Pine, the High Commissioner to Sri Lanka from New Zealand, and of course His Excellency Kieran Reid, former captain of the All Blacks.
Rugby royalty here at Nittawela. What a pleasure to have two Rugby World Cup winning All Blacks looking over this game, and we saw how Sri Lanka team got to engage with these guys as well. I saw Tilina Bandara having a chat with the important man Kieran Reid. What an opportunity.
Matt Busby now to lead the haka for the New Zealand under-85s. The familiar strains of the Kamate ringing out across the Kandy skies, and this gathered Nittawela crowd getting an opportunity to view a haka live for some of them the second time, many of them perhaps the first time in their lives. And of course the Sri Lankan Tuskers standing across from them, facing that haka, getting an opportunity which Matt Busby leads with so much culture, with so much passion.
Well, I think the message, again, same as last week, which I actually think the Sri Lankans picked up on, was to use that energy projected by the New Zealanders from the haka and use it to fuel their performance. And that's why I think we saw such a good start by the Sri Lankans last week, because they weren't afraid, they didn't back down.
Well, we were talking about rugby royalty, and we've got some Kandy royalty in the box as well. Nigel Ratpatha joining us, taking over from Tarinder Ratpatha, who joined us in Colombo. Nigel, must have been an experience to face up to the Haka last year.
Oh yeah, it was a wonderful experience. I guess it's a once in a lifetime. I enjoyed it, enjoyed the moment.
Morgan White will be back as the referee for this leg as well. Jets Danai Wongyen and Item Adi will be the assistant referees. Karida Chaturanga, Jack Leahy in your picture has been brought in to shore up the line out, which struggled a little bit in the first half last week.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Vaishan Vimukti looking to really take over and show some dominance in those scrums. And this wonderful picture of an outstanding rugby ground, home to so many championships in the club arena in Sri Lanka, and home also to undisputedly the most passionate rugby crowd that this country can boast of.
We're the only city in the whole island where cricket takes a back seat. Rugby is the favorite sport here in Kandy, and the fans will let everybody know that they're here to be the 16th man for these lads in the white.
Omar Kugunaratne back in the starting lineup. The Wags, as they are called, look on expectantly as Tenukanane Akara kicks off straight into the hands of Jack Leahy, and it seems like it might have been lost forward, but it was locked back. And Josh Gillett immediately into the tackling. One of the only faces remaining in that New Zealand lineup in the forwards, as Kavindu De Costa recalled from retirement. Suji Sikota with a thumping tackle on Akash Madhushankar. Tenukanane Akara lays it back, and Kavindu De Costa has to clean out.
Use it.
Hansitha. And now Marasinghe carries strongly. And the first penalty coming Sri Lanka's way.
Well, that's a good result for Sri Lanka, considering they lost about 20 metres on that play after gathering that kick-off. New Zealand quite eager to contest the breakdown, but just getting a bit too eager there.
Sri Lanka doing well to make sure that they kept the continuity going despite their halfback getting stuck in that stoppage, and that is a fabulous touch finder.
Yeah, it's a good touch find. I hope we have something coming up soon.
Thilina Bandara and Lahiru Tilakaratne dominated the lineouts last week. Let's see how much New Zealand has done in preparation for defensive lineouts, Jamie.
Well, it's definitely been a work on. You didn't need to be Rassi Erasmus to know that was what they need to work on this week. So let's see how they go here. Great attacking position for Sri Lanka.
Pulassi Dasanayaka to Thilina Bandara is a familiar call, and Dasanayaka has it at the back. Sri Lanka driving 5 metres. That's been collapsed, and it's a penalty try early doors. The Sri Lankan Tuskers 8 have created real pressure, and Lahiru Tilakaratne is fired up.
Oh, why can he not? Why can he not? And that famous corner right in front of the Kandy Club House Sports Club. And there is a yellow card dished out as well. That's going to be Oliver Dunn, the debutant. His debut is cut short. Just 2 minutes into the game, he has to spend 10 minutes in the bin.
Well, absolutely perfect start for Sri Lanka. They couldn't have scripted that better. And it looks like, I think it's Matt.
Looks like it's Oliver
Dunn-Parrott, and that's a sad way to mark your debut, getting yellow card. But Sri Lanka did everything right there, just piled and used their big advantage, and an area where New Zealand already...
Twice being given. After the whistle, no more. Clear message. Any more, I will deal with. Nah, let's go.
Lahiru Tilakaratne offering his hand to Jared Percival, who ignores it. And he's not making himself a popular man here, Jared Percival, but he won't mind if he can take home the game. Thilina Bandara taking it at number 2. I was wondering whether Sri Lanka might have gone to the front too early. But here we go. They piled in, Jayathu Rajaratne joining as well, and Sri Lanka managed to fishtail that and straighten it around. And Jack Leahy and Oliver Dunn-Parrott falling and bringing that down enough for a penalty try. Another penalty in favour of Sri Lanka, not rolling away. So a little bit of indiscipline. Fire in the belly, but the ice in the veins a little absent at the moment, Jamie.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to need to screw their heads back on to get used to Mr. White's interpretations here, because that's 2 on the trot now and a yellow card early. So the New Zealanders managed to problem solve their way out of things last week, and they've got an early challenge now. And that's another great kick.
Murshid Zubair asked to move to number 15, Nigel. What will that change in the way he approaches the game?
He's pretty calm at the back, so I think he'll keep controlling the front. So that'll be a good option as well for us to keep. I hope they're not rolling away.
Matt Treby was the man who was the guilty party on that occasion. 4 in the line out for Sri Lanka. And Thilina Bandara dummies nicely at the front. And Omalka Gunaratne will have a look up and give it to Navin Marasinghe. Kavindra Costa does really well to palm that one back. It's inaccurate from the Sri Lankan backs, but Murshid Zubair will put a fend on.
Onside.
And now Sri Lankan backs have the ball in hand. Pulasti Dasanayake goes straight into
Roll 2.
Josh Gillett. Back to the short side. Akash stepping in field. Good tackle from Jackson Ephraim's, and Akash needed to do better there. This time it's Billy Sloan who comes away with the ball. Jackson Ephraim's attacking the short side. Josh Evans rather plays at halfback. And Ephraim's now will settle things down. Percival will look to swing it to the dangerous Francis Morrison. Zubair with the tackle. This is the danger man, Vosikata, but they've marked him well this time. Gillett goes straight up the middle.
Use it.
Ephraim's. Percival with the kick, it's charged down. Thilina Bandara won't have the legs to get to it, but Francis Morrison can dance himself out of any tight spot. Lahiri Tilakaratne with an important tackle there on the dangerous broken field running of Morrison. And Ephraim's with the box. The first tester for Zubair, but there's no pressure on him as Tenuka Naneakara puts it high. Gillett. Good chase from Sri Lanka. Nicely stolen that time by the impressive Deshan Vimukti, and stolen back by New Zealand. Spotting space was Jackson Ephraim's, but has that kick gone a little too far? Jayathu Rajaratne has pressure on him by Campbell Busby. And now the dangerous Schwartz. Schwartz looking for Percival. Ruberu with an important tackle. And now inside the 22 for the first time, New Zealand. Ephraim's look short side. Nice ball over the top. Jayathu Rajaratne went for the interception. Jack Leahy.
Offside, number 4 offside.
Sri Lanka with their first penalty. Josh Evans that time gets 3 meters away from the line. Ephraim's, and here's Rowlands coming around the corner.
Offside.
2 offsides. Here's Leahy. Just over the line, yes he is. Jack Leahy scores the first try for New Zealand.
What a response from the New Zealanders. Absolutely incredible passage of play. Went about 3 minutes and about 20 phases up and down the field. This is how this under 85kg team wants to play, and they showed it. Jared Percival got himself involved about 3 times, including a circus trick out the back there. But this is just simply creating space, wrapping around. Good work by Ephraim's here to spot the key runners, and Leahy getting himself in a fantastic position to power his big frame over.
You spoke about how the New Zealand team will be looking to pounce on any mistakes that Sri Lanka does, and Jayathu Rajaratne not managing to get that clearance needed to make sure that he surveys his options and go for touch. He had to go and kick it out because he was inside the 22, had the liberty. He didn't have to really look for distance, and New Zealand under 85 with their quality pouncing on that mistake.
Definitely, we had to get that kick out. Sama.
And that's a lack of experience, isn't it, as the conversion is over from Percival. Had Yuan Patrina at the back last week, Nigel, and now Jayathu Rajaratne in the number 11 spot as well. So youngsters not understanding that this is not club rugby quite yet. And Tenukana with a unfortunate mistake. You've got to get back into the opposition half after you've conceded. So this is where Sri Lanka mustn't allow
take the line out.
their
Take
heads
the line out on half.
to get cluttered by too much. They've
Line
just
out.
conceded. It doesn't
Line
matter.
out.
Oh, interesting call here. Early by the New Zealanders have opted for the line out rather than the scrum. So a bit of an early psychological win there for the Sri Lankans, even though I'm sure they probably wouldn't have wanted to put that kick out in the full.
Well, Jamie, that's respect after the performance in that first game by the Sri Lankan forwards.
It's just pragmatism.
And also, especially given the fact that New Zealand is going with an entire new front five, you're not going to want to try and test with the opposition early.
Jack Leahy is the only man that they're going to go to. And that's something that Sri Lanka will know. Omalka Gunaratne taking his opposite number in centre field. Rollins. Navin Marasinghe
Let go now.
really getting involved. And Francis Morrison, it's not a great pass to Matt Treeby. Morrison's been playing quite a bit of touch rugby, but he forgets that there are a few front five forwards around here.
Yeah, well, they're not going to be able to avoid having a scrum here. So we talked about
please.
how anticipated this is going to be. New Zealand obviously down to 7 in the scrum as well, so even more of a disadvantage. So let's see how this goes. So it looks like we've got an injury on the play.
Omalka Gunaratne absolutely fired up, and Coach Dushant Leuke opting to start with him. And Omalka Gunaratne, even in the club season, did like to put his number down to Fijian origin opposite number 8. And so the Wasikata Gunaratne battle in the middle is going to be a very interesting one.
Certainly is.
Which
As
number
we
off?
see Oliver Dunn Parent coming on, but I think they'll have to lose someone, so Josh Evans is off.
Over here,
Josh
Mark's
Evans
here.
off. Jandre du Toit coming on to replace Oliver Dunn Parent, who hasn't got long left in the Simbin, to be fair.
Probably part of the reason why they didn't want to take that scrum on the last occasion as well.
Absolutely, but let's see how this one goes.
Time back on. Crouch.
Big man in centre field,
Bind.
Maifea Tayulu Feso. He'll be asking for the ball for sure as soon as he gets an opportunity.
Time off. Okay, two things. Bind. Bind longer. We don't. On bind, we hold, please. Let's go. Don't step back. Let's go.
Deshan Vimukti and Hansita De Silva at prop for Sri Lanka. Hansita on the near side on the loose head. Rollins, with all his experience on the tight head side for New Zealand, made a real impact after coming on last week. Sri Lanka looking to try and walk this one. Lahadu Tirakaratne goes off the back. Extra man for Tenukanane Akara, and Murshid Zubair catches with the extra man coming. Diluk Shadange loses the ball in contact. And although it was a good move, wasn't accurate enough, Nigel.
Yeah, ball retention's key. We need to keep the ball and play faces, especially when you have the ball from the first phase. Keep building up, play in the correct areas.
Nice ball movement from Nane Akara to Zubair. Needed to straighten maybe a little bit more, and Dange perhaps had to cut in a little earlier than he did.
Sri Lanka will be looking to do a little better, try and put New Zealand under pressure here in this scrum. First scrum, they had to face a lot of pressure here. New Zealand is at the risk of losing possession. So they will be focused on driving this one down.
Pulasti Dasanayake going straight to ground and gets the call from the assistant referee. There's Morgan White. And he says that tight head side, so Vimukti is the guilty man.
Great result there for the New Zealanders, and Percival will take his sweet time putting this to touch, and the forwards getting to the line out. And that's a nice bit of real estate he's picked up there as New Zealand look to attack once again. Just out from the 22. You mentioned the midfield before. Campbell Busby, not a great first touch. But let's see if he can make up for it here. They'll be looking to utilise that crash ball in the middle.
Well, if you are a front row forward or a forwards coach, there were some fabulous front row dark cards to force Pulasti Dasanayake to go down.
Vosikata, they'll be looking to use him as the battering ram, close in. Percival, they're looking to move it. Busby, long ball over, and Jayathu Rajaratne does well. Akash smashed back by Peter Schwartz. Outstanding bit of defensive work there, but Sri Lanka have a little space now. Pulasti Dasanayake puts his head down and beats the gain line. Omar Gunaratne smashes through Jack Laty's first attempt at a tackle. Kavindu de Costa to Navin Marasinghe. Marasinghe takes all of Oliver Dunpennant with him, and it's a high shot.
That is good from Sri Lanka, using their forwards to good attempt and making sure that the point of attack is changed each time. They're not looking to attack around the fringes and making sure that they're looking to spread this New Zealand defense.
Coach Leke was talking about changing the pictures that New Zealand have seen. He's very concerned that New Zealand have analysed Sri Lanka to death after the first game, and these positional changes could be a masterstroke, Nigel.
Definitely, that's why the powerhouse Omalka is there, and also Marasinghe having two power carriers will definitely gain ground. It'll be easy for the backs to get some ground as well.
Gee, that was Ollie Dunparent again. He's quite lucky, you'd have to say. Obviously nothing malicious in that tackle, but he's already on a yellow.
No contest, so that crooked throw. Well, that was 50-50, wasn't it? Josh Gillett will get marched 10 back, but he will have a case to argue, I think.
Omar Gunaratne was still bound, and the ball did not come out of the ruck because he was part of the ruck as well. We'll take another look at that. And what you're going to, and the referee is very clear. You got to play the ball. You can't clear the man because if you're going to clear the man, the ruck is still on. The entry point to that was not through the gate.
Well, I think we can agree to disagree on that one because it certainly looked like the ball squirted out the back there, but the end result is another fantastic opportunity for Sri Lanka, and I feel like they're going to be doing exactly what they did the last time they were down here.
Let's have a look at that one again when we get an opportunity. Here it is. No contest, so the crooked throw is allowed to go on, and let's go live to Sri Lanka.
That's once.
Once is the call from Morgan.
Out 5.
Cutting back. Manuka Ruberu. And again trapped in there is Kavindu de Costa. They'll need to get the forwards there quickly. Josh Gillett, who gave away the penalty, has done some brilliant work in there in the tight.
Onside.
Percival will have time. But in the end doesn't manage to find touch, and Jayathu Rajaratne will have a little bit of acreage. But Murshid Zubair. Oh, it's just a foot long. Just a foot long.
And that's a killer. That is an absolute killer. Sri Lanka should have been camped out. If nothing else, from that attacking line-out, should have at least milked another penalty, and instead they find themselves 65 metres downfield.
Another error from Sri Lanka, and this is where New Zealand will look to pounce and capitalise. Sri Lanka need to be focused and make sure that their exits are met, because last time around when they didn't know that, they paid with 7.
Kandy Costa off the overthrown line out. And Wosikata comes away with the loose ball. He's not one you want to see in broken field. Lovely little show and go from Billy Sloan. And the penalty is coming for New Zealand.
Space, space, space. I just need space. I just need to speak to him. Can't keep shouting. I'm going to check something now. Just speak to you. He can't be shouting at me. Hang on, I'm going to check it now. I just want to check the actions of 8 White, the last tackle before the break, if he uses his arms in the tackle.
Malka Gunaratne coming in on Wosikata. Did have a sheepish look at the referee after he made contact, because didn't really see an arm coming around. Today we do not have a television match official or a TMO. It's going to be video referee or referral.
Here's Omalka in the headband. Number 8, Wosikata, his opposite number. Well, he's the 3rd player in that tackle there.
Please. That same tackle.
Not sure there's much in that. Wosikata gets caught initially by Lahiru Tilakaratne. And then we've got Kandy Costa coming off the back, and then Omalka
Gunaratne. It's not clear. I want the one on the other side of the pitch, please. So I can see the right arm. The right arm, the other side.
So referee Morgan White wants the reverse side replay to see whether Omalka's arm was tucked or whether he was attempting a genuine wrap. This won't show us. It'll have to be from the far side touchline where the benches are. Well, this is probably the best angle. Well, that was much ado about nothing. And everyone gets to take a little bit of a breather.
Off feet penalty over here.
New Zealand have the penalty anyway, but he was a 3rd arriving player into that tackle, Sudarshana, so not really sure whether could have wrapped around 3 men.
Yeah, Marco is a big man, but not as big as you'd require to wrap around 3 men. Marco, he's been given the leash by Coach Leuke, I believe, to make sure go out empty attack in 35 to 40 minutes, because when you have this former game skipper in the bench that can come on and finish off the next 40. This time around, Percival going to the corner.
Thought about the 3, didn't they?
They certainly did, maybe just to take a breather, but we do have the water break coming up in a couple of minutes, and it would be a shame to waste this field position. And Percival's really made the Sri Lankans pay here. Line out, 6 metres out.
Wosikata in the front. They're not going to be dummied by that, and Jack Leahy is the man they go to. Sri Lanka have been practicing their maul defense, of course. And nicely done by Omalka Gunaratne. He's wrapped that up, and that's superb defense. Diagonally opposite from the place where they scored the try.
This is something that will make Coach Leuke very, very happy. It's an area of the game that he is a pet area of the game, and he's made sure Omalka Gunaratne turns up, and this is a big statement from the Sri Lankans.
Maybe a bit of a lesson there for the New Zealanders, who admittedly did score a try from similar circumstances last week. Trying the same thing again, and with Gunaratne there, it's a bit of a different story. He did really, really well to get through the middle there.
Speak to them now. Next one's yellow card. That's the message. I want you to pass it on now.
Well, this is interesting. You've been a captain, Nigel. Jared Percival, very argumentative with referee Morgan White.
I guess inside the game he is. He tries to get over the referee all the time, but I guess that's his tactic.
The second march-back penalty.
Well, trying to get the last say every time referee wants to communicate something that might not go in your favor as the game goes by, but good opportunity for Sri Lanka to try and get out of jail.
Here we see it again. This is tight stuff. You can't even see him because he's right in there. Malka Gunaratne managed to rip the ball away from Jack Leahy. That's outstanding work. Billy Sloan tries at the front, but Tilina Bandara is imperious in the air. Smash back is Matt Treeby. Wouldn't have enjoyed that, the hooker. Malka Gunaratne, in the twilight of his Tuskers career, showing the damage he can cause. Kamindu de Costa to Percival. And it looks like Percival's overcooked that one as well.
They are kicked out on the full. Opportunity for Sri Lanka. What they need to do is try and pounce here, because they got to make New Zealand play for the mistakes that they're making.
Well, the body language from this New Zealand 8 is a little concerned. It's important Jared Percival doesn't lose the team, and that was very clearly contested by Leahy. And Pulasti Dasanayake was so good last week, he can't afford to throw this away.
Always difficult when you have experienced campaigner like Leahy going up, and that's something New Zealand lacked in the first 40. They fixed it up in the second, and now Leahy really putting himself up there. Tilna Bandar and Tilakaratna are very good jumpers, but Pulasti Dasanayake, like you mentioned, need to find his mark.
Well, we've hit the first water break, and I think temperature's still up around 30 degrees here in Kandy. Very pleasant 30 degrees, might I add, especially up here. And I think that the New Zealanders will be reflecting on the first quarter of a game that feels like another trench fight. It has been a little bit more open. We saw that the passage of play that led to Jack Leahy's try, very good open running rugby. But once again, it just coming down to these little mistakes that each team are giving each other opportunities. A couple of missed kicks to touch, a couple of kicks out on the full.
That was Sri Lanka's first try. It was a penalty try. And followed immediately by a yellow card to the man who Morgan White deemed to have brought that maul down, Oliver Dunparent, on debut. And then New Zealand responding immediately with some nice pendulum swinging play, and Jack Leahy managed to reach over in the tackle of Madhushankar. And it was an easy conversion for Jared Percival for a 7 points all game. We're all tied up here at the end of the first quarter, and this is what we were expecting it to be, wasn't it, Jamie? Even though both teams have made a huge number of changes, the game itself hasn't changed too much.
Not at all. I think the game this week has been a little bit more cohesive than what we saw last week, perhaps because they've had an extra week of preparation. It's as simple as that. But Sri Lanka clearly feeding off this big, noisy, passionate crowd. I don't know if you can hear it if you're watching on TV, but it's really something. We're struggling to hear each other talk up here in the commentary box. As New Zealand pack down another scrum.
Well, back after the break, Jackson Ephraim's to Freed. Ephraim's and Francis Morrison quickly on a plane from New Zealand after that touch tournament finished to be part of the tour squad. Sri Lanka swiveling the try. And here's the long ball to Ben Kelt. Kelt goes off his feet. But Akash Madhushankar. And in the end, it's Thenuka Naneyakkara who had to go in. Little outside of the foot grubber, but Tenukanane has conceded a penalty, and Suji Vosikata it's a lot of finger pointing from Jared Percival, continuing on from last week.
Captain. I want your captain.
Well, it worked last week.
Hang on.
I don't know why you'd want to stop doing it. And that's not the first flare-up we've seen.
You can join this as well. Okay. Boys, we need to bring the values back to the game. Multiple instances now, push and shove. It's not acceptable. I've given a penalty, hands on the floor. Your white players come in, had a word, and then pushed. So it's going to be a penalty to New Zealand, okay? You have a word, and your players don't come in as well. I understand. There's a push, you get a penalty.
I think he has been...
Yeah, I want you to speak now. Yes, yes.
Once again, referee Morgan White earning his paycheck tonight.
He's had the most work to do in this first quarter. See if we can have a look at what happened again. Tenukanane Akara was the man who conceded first.
Kamiduri Costa clearly taking the reins and making sure he calms down the forwards. But something that you got to keep in mind, revving up these forwards for Sri Lanka is not going to work very well for the New Zealanders as well, because the crowd will get behind them.
Well, I think we might see the sighting commissioner coming in on that headlock. If we can have a look at that one again, there was no neck roll, but there was a headlock certainly.
And a shot called here by Percival, just wanting to calm things down, maybe let everyone take a bit of a deep breath.
Since his original win of the out of the Papare title, he hasn't won too many friends here, but it doesn't matter as he's got the 3 points that really will change the momentum here in this game. The skipper has been a bit beleaguered in this last week, but that was an important momentum shift.
Lead for the first time for the New Zealand under 85, coming through a penalty.
Grass cutting tackle from Pulasti Dasanaika. And Jackson Ephraim's puts it really high. And Peter Schwartz. Suji Vosikata is living on the edge.
This is where I think Sri Lanka needs to reset.
It's not too far out. Both Tenukanane Akara and Murshid Zubair may have the range from here, but opting instead to go into the 22.
I assume they go for the maul. I think the last time they did the same, Dange was wide open. They should check the cross kick.
Nice reach from Tilina Bandara. Can he get the ball back to Pulasti Dasanaika is the question. Not by the looks of things. Omalka Gunaratne trying to wrestle it off him, but New Zealand have done really well. And outstanding work from Josh Gillett.
Or the only man remaining from that last 8 that started. Josh Gillett did fabulously well, but there, referee White spotting foul play.
Jumping across is the call, Jamie.
Yep, fair enough too, although it was some great work by Gillett to get in there and repay the favour from down the other end. But again, great position for Sri Lanka. Let's see what they can do.
We saw a close-up of Vusikata there. Yes, that's a good call from the assistant referee where he's bumped the Sri Lankan jumper in midair. Vusikata is carrying easily 20 each of his 85 kilos in his biceps. Nicely done by Bandara. That time they managed to transfer, and Omarka Gunaratne goes off the back. Lays Peter Schwartz on his backside. Pulassi Dasanayake needs some support now. Kamini de Costa has players screaming for it. He's got a blind side as well. Gunaratne again.
Diluk Shadange is wide open.
Nigel's seen it from the commentary box. Will Tenuka see it? It's not going to go wide anytime soon, Nigel. Sri Lanka will keep it close. Oh, and he's over it. Josh Evans. Beautiful work from Evans, but just can't survive the clean out. Nanayakara cutting back infield was Akash Madhushankar, last week's try scorer, and they've lost it. Evans with the nice ball out to Ephraim's. Nobody's home for Sri Lanka. And the ball just bouncing into touch, saving the local blushers, but that ball needed to go wide, Sudarshana.
Oh, it needed to go wide 3-4 phases earlier. Plenty space on the outside. The cross kick could have come, or use of the short side as well. There was a massive short side that opened up. Unfortunately, Sri Lanka opting to keep it closer to the fringes, and New Zealand were privy to that and negotiated very well. Then Nanayakara getting his boot across and pouncing on that opportunity was Josh Evans.
Well, you have to say fantastic defence there, really smashing Madhushankar back there, forcing the error, and Evans, as we said in the build-up, so good around the ruck, there to make them pay.
Janit Marasinghe gets an untidy ball and does well, but Gellert again in the centre of everything. Play on is the call, and Jared Percival will look to milk a 50-22. Murshid Zubair has read it nicely. And we'll just want to make sure that he doesn't concede anything silly. Important moment in the game, wasn't that, Nigel? Camping on that 5-meter line.
Yes, indeed. I mean, we should have. We all saw it. The crucial moments like that can make a difference.
So that was a real danger with Murshid Zubair dropping to 15. That vision is something that Sri Lanka would miss. They needed it there, and this is where they need to rotate. Maybe Zubair coming to first receiver a little more often.
Yeah, double pivot is going to be important for Sri Lanka when it comes to the first 5-8. Yet again overthrown.
Ahaliak with a nice little pass out, and Manuka Ruberu. Can they get it wide to Jayathu Rajaratne? They can. He steps, but he's in the tram lines now, and Kamini de Costa needs to get it back quickly. Here's Omarka Gunaratne. He was taking no prisoners today. Bandara, lovely angle from the big hooker, Pulassi Dasanayake. Really earned his national colours. Tenuka Nanayakara with the ball to Dange. Finally gets the ball in his hands on his home ground, Diluk Shadange. And now Sri Lanka with their tails up. Zubair a little bit more involved at first receiver this time. This is what they need to see more of. Didn't survive the clean out there, and Manilka Ruberu with 10 on his back gives it to Murshid Zubair, to Jayathu Rajaratne. Peter Schwartz makes a spot tackle. Here's Ruberu. It's a laboured ball to Bandara. And they've got a man down, which is unfortunate for Sri Lanka because they had all the pace going on that ball.
Sri Lanka had all the momentum going on that ball. You got to notice that Sri Lanka is missing a little bit of pace with Janithu Dilshan missing on that win. Jayathu Rajaratne still not getting his rhythm going. He's not able to try and exploit the space on the outside, but the Sri Lankans are revved up.
Another fantastic bit of defensive work there by Peter Schwartz. Out on the wing, cutting down, I believe it was Rajaratne. Looked to take him on the outside. That's the second big defensive play he's made. Another one down on the goal line that really really got his bell rung on that, but bounced straight back up to join the defensive line. He's having a fantastic first 40.
She's not good for Sri Lanka if Pulasis Datsanayake can't continue. They're looking at his shoulder. May have got a little bit of a stinger, but the magic spray might do the job. And Dushant Leke will be hoping that he can stay on at least till half-time, Pulasti. Such an important part of this front five for Sri Lanka.
Yeah, has been a fabulous player. Antonian played his club rugby for CHNFC here at home.
Sub, please. Sub.
Another look at the earlier phase. Here's where the contact was made, and that time it was Tululu Feso. Beg your pardon, that was Matt Toby. His opposite number making the contact on that shoulder.
Bang, right on the point of the shoulder. I think we've all had those throughout our careers. I can tell you it's not fun at all. Big moment here. Looks like Dasanyaka was a big part of their set piece, obviously. A lot of pressure now on Konnagoda.
Venerakodagoda coming on is obviously a much smaller man, so big weight differential in the front row, and it's really unfortunate for Pulasi Dasanayake. Looks like an AC joint injury.
You need to be bound in.
Really painful. He's going to struggle to put his shirt on tomorrow morning, I can tell you that one, but hopefully it won't be too long.
Hang on.
While Sri Lanka loses out on size when it comes to the front row, Venerakodagoda brings in accuracy when it comes to line out. A very good line out thrower for former Isipatana hooker. Now plays his rugby at the London place for CRNFC.
Josh Kellett has really been superb in his interventions. So far in this first half, performance worthy of that black number 7. And that's exactly what the difference is when Dasanayake goes out.
Well. What a difference a week makes. All the talk coming into this one was around the scrum. It looks like the tables have been turned well and truly here. That's really silenced this crowd. So a couple of key moments going New Zealand's way right there, thanks to firstly a tackle by Matt Treby and then secondly a scrum that he was right in the middle of.
Matt Treby is the unsung hero for this team so far. Scored the important try to seal the game at the racecourse. And poor old Venerakodagoda called out of the cold into this scrum. You can see that the loose head side.
We didn't get the bind right, Shanaka, the Sri Lankan front row, and that's why New Zealand could come through and put pressure. And when you don't have that base secure at the scrum, you are very much vulnerable. Important area of the field for New Zealand. Sri Lanka will be hoping that they can put pressure in this line out.
Nicely done by Sri Lanka, but Jack Leahy profits, but it looks like there might have been a knock on there. Bowden Barrett's brother-in-law.
He's not offside. He's side by side.
Very proud angler as well. Just love his fishing. I did suggest he has 2 more days in Sri Lanka. Did suggest the Bolguda River. Yeah, he'll be able to catch some brilliant fish.
Look at that work rate by Navin Marasinghe, lifting Tirila Bandaru, who's no small man by himself. This is important scrum for Sri Lanka. Would like to see them try and exploit the blind side here, but not a genuine number 8.
All six. Right. First things first, I want you to get your gap right. Once you're happy with the gap, you keep your break foot forward. Set, move back. Is that clear? On the hit, movement. Stable. Let's go.
Well, it sounds easy, Jamie, but it really isn't.
Yeah, well, I mean, One bit of good news from New Zealand is it's not as hot as it was at the start of the game. It's gone from 30 to 28 degrees. But I can tell you there's still going to be a lot of heat in the scrum.
Really important moments in the game. Sri Lanka do well. Omalku Gunaratne goes off the back, but again, Josh Gillett. Straight off his feet goes Jackson Ephraim's, and it's taken quickly by Murshid Zubair, looking to put some pace on the game. Josh Evans asked to leave it, and the captain smashes it up. De Costa looks for Navin Marasinghe, runs straight over the top of Josh Evans, and again, that's cynical surely.
They're kicking the ball away as well, Evans. They don't want Sri Lanka to take it quickly. Sri Lanka straight away pointing at the post. They want to equalize, and this is well within the range for both the kickers that are on offer for Sri Lanka.
Well, I'm not sure. I think Sri Lanka had a bit of momentum. Would have gone for the corner, Nigel. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a tough call. I think I want to tick the scoreboard, get into level terms.
That was it's hard not to think of the C word, cynical. Jamie Wall tellingly quiet in the commentary box.
Well, we got a saying back home: if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Tenukanane Akara, it's well wide, but won't mind that because they'll have to run it back. But this is the dangerous Francis Morrison. Managed to stop him before he does too much damage. Frames. Percival is under pressure, and they force it into touch just inside the 22. So it's a good result for Sri Lanka in the end.
Yeah, it's a net gain for Sri Lanka. Getting that line out inside the 22 meters, the red zone for the New Zealanders. They will need to make sure that they go through their motions and make no mistakes here, because New Zealand have been pouncing on opportunity. Plenty of friends for Nigel in the frame.
All my relatives up there.
Down by White. Play on. Hey, use it.
This is where Sri Lanka need to make sure that they suck in the defense and then give it out. Guilty of keeping it with the forwards for too long. Kavindu De Costa forced to get into the clear out, which means that the ball is slow.
Use it.
Vosikata, Gunaratne. That's a nice mini battle that has been entertaining us all half. Taridu Chaturanga. Nicely done by Josh Evans again. Pickpocketing that ball. Ruberu with an important tackle. And now Matt Busby has a little bit of space, but it's been knocked forward. Ben Kelt will go under the post, but it was an important tackle.
Auckland man thought that he had gotten a gift, but lost forward. Important tackle for Sri Lanka, but New Zealand looking very threatening with ball movement.
You can see why they rate Josh Evans, Jamie.
It's absolutely right, and it's why he keeps pushing the boundaries at that ruck. You know, there was a little bit of joke before: if you're not cheating, you're not trying. But you've got to see where the referee's at around there.
I understand, okay.
And Campbell Busby again unlucky. He's
you don't speak to me anymore.
Second one today. He's slipped out of his hands.
Let's go.
But it was on there for the New Zealanders. The counter-attack has been looking very threatening. And while they've pulled the trigger a few times, just haven't quite hit the target yet, but you kind of get the feeling that it's coming.
Fired up for forwards, but very good intervention earlier by Dilushka Dange to dislodge that ball of Busby. Important scrum here for Sri Lanka.
Okay. Take the gap. Gap.
Well, this will be an interesting angle for us to see that scrum if we can stay with that drone shot. It's always good to be able to see what angles the front rowers are going in on.
Point. Set. Hold. Up.
Ball is at the back, so play on is the call. And Murshid Zubair thumps this one high into the Nittawela sky, and his smash back is Jared Percival, who was brave in that high ball catch. Ephraim's returns the favor. Dange to Murshid. Murshid slicing through, needs support. And yes, that's a good jackal from Matt Busby there. Campbell Busby rather.
Murshid Zubair claiming that he went down, but the arriving player for Sri Lanka lost his feet, refraining a fair contest there.
And that came from another good kick from Jackson Ephraim, who's kicked really well so far, coming straight into the starting lineup and offering that.
Yeah. So you can wait till it's 40, then.
While it went a little bit long, the kick chase was very good. Campbell Busby making up for that knock on out wide.
Really good jackal there, nice wide base, and as much as Murshid Zubair will argue, Campbell Busby had all the rights to that ball. Diluk Shadange needed to perhaps support his fullback a little better and win that race for space, as they call it.
The actual stadium clock time will be up, so it'll be half-time. It'll be half-time.
Jared Percival going through his restart motions, and that's a good kick from the New Zealand skipper. He's been dead-eye Dick today, and that's the difference between the two sides
8's up.
with half-time approaching.
It's a very good kick.
Couple of more seconds remaining, so the restart will be done, and great kick from Percival. 3 penalties, the difference, 2 penalties rather, the difference between the two teams, like Shanaka mentioned. Nana Kara kicking it deep, and New Zealand will be happy to kick this one out. Tilla Bandara coming across it. Oh.
Very good clearance.
Well, that's half-time, and the wind has picked up. Sri Lanka are going to be with the wind in the second half by the looks of things, so that should be interesting. And is this wind worth 6 points? That's what we'll find out in the second half. New Zealand have been under pressure, but Sri Lanka, after losing Pulassi Dasanayake, will really struggle in that front five. But Lasinda Vishan, the man on your screen, has come on, last week's captain, and is he going to make the difference? Has Omalka Gunaratne done enough damage as a battering ram in that first half for Lasinda Vishan to reap the rewards of it? It's 13 points to 7 up here in Nittawela. New Zealand under 85 kilogram representative team against the Sri Lankan Tuskers, and they've extended their lead to 17 points. Jamie Wall, we have a match coming up in the next 40.
Can't wait.
We'll be back after the break.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි. නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි. නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි. නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි. නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි. නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
When tea meets sparkle, refreshment gets a whole new twist. Introducing sparkling iced teas, lightly carbonated, crafted from carefully brewed tea and infused with natural flavors for a clean, crisp taste in every sip.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
When tea meets sparkle, refreshment gets a whole new twist. Introducing sparkling iced teas, lightly carbonated, crafted from carefully brewed tea and infused with natural flavors for a clean, crisp taste in every sip.
Rugby.
Live rugby.
Prima Kotumi. Fun Tamari.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Freeze! මෙච්චර වෙබ්සයිට්ස්
මෙච්චර ලොගින්ස් පාස්වර්ඩ්ස් බයින කියලා මොකටදනේ
මට බලන්න ඕන ෆිල්ම්ස් එක තැනක TV සීරීස් තව තැනක නිවුස් වෙනම තැනක ඇති මේ හැමදේම කැමති විදිහට බලන්න Dialog Play
Hollywood, Bollywood, teledramas, reality shows, music,
sports, TV series, news මේ ඕන එක ඉන්න තැනක ඉඳන් යන එන ගමන් කැමති විදිහට බලන්න හඳුන්වා දෙන Dialog Play අදම ඩවුන්ලෝඩ් කරන්න
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
When tea meets sparkle, refreshment gets a whole new twist. Introducing sparkling iced teas, lightly carbonated, crafted from carefully brewed tea and infused with natural flavors for a clean, crisp taste in every sip.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Live rugby.
Prima Kotumi. Fun Tamari.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence. Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence. Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
When tea meets sparkle, refreshment gets a whole new twist. Introducing sparkling iced teas, lightly carbonated, crafted from carefully brewed tea and infused with natural flavors for a clean, crisp taste in every sip. When tea meets sparkle, refreshment gets a whole new twist. Introducing sparkling iced teas, lightly carbonated, crafted from carefully brewed tea and infused with natural flavors for a clean, crisp taste in every sip.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Love rugby,
live rugby.
Prima Kotumi, fun tamari.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Love rugby,
live rugby.
Prima Kotumi, fun tamari.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
We're live at the Nittawela Stadium as the drone has done its job. Commercial Bank fueling Sri Lanka rugby, and of course Nigel Ratwata, our celebrity commentator, fueling a lot of excitement in the crowd as he did his Kotumi promo, kicking balls into the crowd. Sri Lanka starting really well in this game, winning a penalty try off this driving maul, got real momentum, did well to keep that ball in control, but couldn't make it count as Oliver Dunn-Parent was sent to the bin for 10 minutes. Were not ruthless enough, but they allowed New Zealand back through some excellent kicking by by Jared Percival. Looking dangerous on the counter-attack, Jamie, New Zealand.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said in the pre-match, they wanted to string a whole bunch of phases together early, and it paid dividends with this great try by Jack Lady.
Jared Percival has been on the money off the tee. And there's a little bit of push and shove here. Percival converting a long-range penalty. And this was another avoidable penalty. Sri Lanka just not, Venura Kodagota just not getting to the breakdown in time, and Percival managing to take that over the crossbar.
New Zealand team back out on the field. I suspect the message would have been more of the same, because it feels like... Sorry, we've just been joined by Nigel, who might have just won the first ever halftime show man of the match performance. He's sweating like an absolute waterfall, but like I said, the message I think would be more of the same. The scrum is obviously, it's a very different story this week. The line out seems to be a lot sharper as well. So it's just a case of hanging in there and waiting for those mistakes to come. But they haven't quite involved Morrison as much as they probably would have liked. We've seen a couple of nice runs from him, all in their own half though. They need to really start getting the ball to those attacking players in space in the Sri Lankan half.
Sri Lanka wary of him though, Jamie, as Nigel makes it finally back up to the commentary box. You earned your money today, Nigel.
Oh, that was tough. Tough stuff.
Can do with some.
Okay. It stops now. Good opportunity.
Can I just...
No more. And we focus on playing rugby. We okay with that?
Do you want us to have a chat now?
Up to you. You have time now before I restart. Clear message to both captains.
Can I just say I'm absolutely flabbergasted by that substitution before half-time of the number 8 Gururatne, who's easily Sri Lanka's best player. I really don't know why they've done that. That's a real head-scratcher.
It was always part of the plan, Jamie, because they wanted him to really empty his tank in the first 30 minutes. He stayed on probably 5 or 7 minutes longer than he was expecting to. But Lasindu Ishan is also not a man that you can really keep off the park. Looking for Oliver Buckle to come on a little later, as well as Morgan White has laid down the law at the start of this game. telling both captains no more, as Akash Madhushankar gets an opportunity to run, which he didn't really in the first half too much. Kavindu de Costa gives it to Thilina Bandara. Costa looking for the box kick. Morrison, the man that Jamie wanted, the ball in his hands, and that's exactly what they've got. And Lasindu Ishan with a lovely tackle on him. Ephraim's Billy Sloan just trying to string the continuity together. New Zealand. Jack Leahy, the try scorer, cartwheeling over the tackle of Karuna Tilaka, and yes, that's been caught by the assistant. No arms is the call. Here's Wosikata. Certainly plenty of arms in that. Navin Marasinghe showing Wosikata who's boss. Let's have a look at that tackle again on Jack Leahy. We'll see what young players should be avoiding at all costs.
Doesn't look like we're getting the replay, but there was a clear-cut daisy cutter. Pretty dangerous stuff, and unfortunately not the first time we've seen that during this series. Saw quite a few of them last week in Colombo. Here we go. Yeah, leading with the shoulder there. Pretty easy call there for the officials.
7.
Yeah, needed to make an attempt to try and wrap his arms around. Had one hand on the ground as well. Makes it very dangerous for the ball carrier. Opportunity for now for New Zealand. Lasindu Karnathalika, the skipper from the last game. No contest.
Sack's good. Sack's good. Play.
It's a good sack from Sri Lanka in defence, but the try scored by Rolands. Roland has got over. He's peeled himself off the back, and the big prop has got the try. An important try to start off the game with. Sri Lanka still recovering from half-time.
Now fabulous work by New Zealand. That time no contest from Sri Lanka. The throw wasn't straight, but it wouldn't matter because there was no contest, and fabulous work from New Zealand setting that up, and Roland breaking off and going the distance.
Absolutely 100% well deserved from Tom Roland. He's been one of New Zealand's best, part of a dominant scrum, been all around the field in these tough conditions. As we see here, kept their head after the maul kind of disintegrated. Great strength. And great work from Leahy, giving him that little extra nudge.
Just a momentum, sliding him over the line there. And Leahy misses his first kick of the evening.
I think Sri Lanka needs to reset, focus on the correct areas to play now.
Josh Gillett with the catch in the line out. Terukanane Akara will need to make sure that he drives this team into the right parts of the pitch.
Okay, so good result for Sri Lanka off that kick-off. Oh. Actually, no. Linesman saying it was touched.
In fact, it wasn't the linesman. It was, as usual, Jared Percival saying it was touched. Linesmen haven't fallen for it this time. Deshan Mumukti at the back of the line out, an unlikely target. Here's Marasinghe. Wosikata doesn't go back that quickly, that often. He will remember that. Sri Lanka's forwards have been doing a bulk of the ball carrying. They will need their backs to get in on the action. Thirina Bandara. Again, superb work by Wosikata. Sure, there was a clear release there, but play on is the call, and Matt Busby. It's in front of the kicker was Ben Kelt, and that's a very avoidable mistake.
Yeah. Big get out of jail free card there for Sri Lanka, who really need to be the next team to score. Because as we saw last week, once the New Zealanders put an arm's length between them on the scoreboard, they found it really difficult. Here we go to the corner again. We saw in the first half. First one resulted in a penalty try. Second two, the New Zealanders were able to defend. So it's a really big moment in the context of this match.
Very important moment, and Sri Lanka need to make sure that they pick out their plan, because they cannot be keeping it too close, because New Zealand are bossing the contact area currently.
And a well-deserved break here for Ollie Dunparent on debut, and Matt Treby, who's had a great game. On comes DeAndre Detroit and Callum Nimmo.
So 2 front row replacements. Nigel, do they stick with them all, or do they try and go a little wider? Gone for a Lasindu Ishan special. Josh Gillett almost had that one as well. Mara Singh punching holes.
Take the ball! Take the ball!
That's not what we want.
And then slam the ball down.
Josh Gillett take a bow. He's been an absolute menace at that breakdown. Stole that one clean.
The only surviving player from the starting lineup of that previous game, showing us reason why he's the only surviving player. Absolute gem of a performance by Gillett throughout in difficult moments. His work rate has been absolutely fabulous. And yet again a jail free for New Zealand.
Sri Lanka just haven't managed to find the last pass, Nigel.
Yeah, Shanaka. We need the composure. We need to play the game plan that is being implemented. Someone's need to come forward and take ownership. Need a little bit more control over the game.
Tarinda Chaturanga, the latcher there, just not managing to get his body position over the ball. Just slight details in accuracy, and coach Dushant Luke will not be happy with that. It's not a great ball off the top of the line out, but Jared Percival will put a high one up for Murshid Zubair, who gets away just from Suji Vosikata. But the counter ruck is great from
Kicks forward by Black. Kicks forward by Black.
Diluk Shadange now will look to tidy things up for Sri Lanka.
Don't try. No, don't hold him. Don't hold him in. Hang on. I'm going. Stop. Let me explain. I give you scrum. I understand he's there. You do not fall on him. You do not hold him. I'm going scrum. No more.
Lasindu Ishan. He pushed me, said, and if it was Nigel Owens, he probably said, well, it's not netball, mate.
Well, I mean, I guess at this point we have to hand Morgan White a bit of a thank you. We're up here in the commentary box, but he seems to be doing quite a bit of it for us. That's not to say he hasn't a good game. Like last week, he's had a lot to do. He's had a couple of very
Just the captain.
enthusiastic conversations,
Just the captain.
can we say, to deal with. And I think he's doing a pretty good job so far, keeping his head.
Well, he's had about 4 or 5 of these conversations, and you have to ask, when is he going to escalate and how?
Yeah, you really got to take control of the game as well, because
Before the second half, I told you both were on a warning. Now both sides are talking each other, talking at me. We're not playing rugby, which is what you both agree. If it happens again, I will bin players. Is that clear? No more.
So, sir,
you speak to your teams now. Next time,
we marched them 10 metres down there, and they were already on a warning.
No, that's for slamming the ball. Slowing it.
Sorry.
That's not the same thing.
Okay, sorry.
I'm okay, thank you. Let's go.
What Sri Lanka have lost with Omarka Gunaratne though is just a little bit of leadership, isn't it?
I'll give the mark, you go off. Yeah, don't stand on it.
And also that no-nonsense attitude. He back himself up to go ahead and go against anybody in the world. Omarka Gunaratne, fierce lad, and executed what he was sent in for. 35 minutes, he became an absolute menace. Like Jamie said, some may argue maybe keep him on for a little longer.
Well, Tom Rowlands has got the try, but he's absolutely got Deshan Vimukti's number on this loose head side. Oh, that's lovely work from Jared Percival. How well did he do to keep that ball in the field of play? Kavinda De Costa. Here's Ben Kelt, who played fullback last week, so plenty of work on the high ball for him. Here's Schwartz. Wusikata. Here's Francis Morrison. They're ready for him this year. Certainly weren't ready for him up in Nittawela last year. He just cut Sri Lanka's defense into ribbons. Busby with the long ball to Evans. Evans fends off Ruberu and manages to recover, does Ruberu, and drag Evans into touch. But I think that Sri Lanka might need to go to their bench. Who will come on in the backs is the question. Like to see Ollie Buckle maybe having a go at 12.
That will be an interesting one. Buckle, a third rower who can get himself around as well. Akash Madhushankar and Manilka Ruberu in that 10-12 position. Fired up, coming on for Tom Rowland.
And the hype man has entered the building. You just heard a huge cheer from the crowd. Fraser Harrison knows how to make an entrance. Something out of WWE, you'd feel. The Ultimate Warrior has come down.
Hold.
That's a huge hanging Gary Owen. Lasin Devishan pouncing on the loose ball. Oh dear, this guy.
Stop.
I'm just happy I'm not playing Sudarshana.
Percival, I think might be the next big thing breaking out from New Zealand with an acting career. Needed to make sure that he marked his man, did it very well. Getting Karnatolika.
Can you just play that last one?
Well, it is a measure of Percival's talent, though, that is the first mistake he's made really all day, other than that misconversion. Led his side very well, made the right calls, but oh, here we go.
TV, can you hear me? The last tackle, please. Can you replay it on the screen, please? We want to check this foul play after it, right? See if there's any after the breakdown. And then just keep playing it after.
Want to see what happened here.
Just keep playing it.
Oh, he's appealing again. Oh, mate. Oh, mate. I'll lose my job if I said what I have to think about this now.
Well, like we mentioned in the previous game as well, Mr. Percival is a very good cricketer. Has had an opening stamp with Tom Latham as well, so a bit of cricket coming through.
You come. So you were just on the warning. There's no release there. This is Papare. So it's going to be a penalty against you. And then you had the warning, so it's going to be a yellow card for the push after. And yellow card for you. You're also the captain. Both of you go.
Well, that should
and then
teach
penalty
him.
over here. Sri Lanka ball.
Sri Lanka would much rather lose Lahiru Thirakarata than New Zealand would lose Jared Percival.
The after. Shouting.
Extraordinary turn of events.
And then the afters, you're both on the formal warning, so 2 yellow cards.
Well, I hate to say it, Jamie, but he has behaved really badly, Jared Percival, and he deserves this yellow card.
You just pushed it a bit too far on that last one, but really, I just praised referee Morgan White before. I think he's got this quite wrong. That shouldn't have even been a blow. The whistle, to be perfectly honest with you.
Well, I agree that Lahiru Thirakarata shouldn't have got the card.
Well, this is trouble for New Zealand, isn't it? Next 10 minutes is going to be very, very crucial for Sri Lanka. They need to make sure that they capitalize on this because New Zealand are going to be minus their number 10, their first 5-8. And also the skipper who makes a lot of calls. Sri Lanka, if they can capitalize on this. Importantly, Nana Akare need to try and get this conversion through. Cut that deficit to 8 points rather. And Sri Lanka will be hoping, especially with wind at their back, Shanaka, to gain full momentum.
Well, it's the first 3 points to claw this lead back, Nigel. What do you tell your troops now with the opposition down a really important player?
I think I would just play in the correct areas and get the New Zealand to defense, because we're not attacking much. I can see we're not building faces, so we need to get to the correct areas, stay calm, build up faces, get the ball to the backs. I believe we're not getting enough ball to the backs.
Peter Schwartz deputizes at restart, and wow, that was a pretty good restart as well. Wondering whether Vidun Amaneth coming on might be something that Sri Lanka would need. Ben Kelt dances out of the tackle of Dange. In the end, it's Jaya who takes him, but he's made a 30-meter run. Ben Kelt. Ephraim's still on the pitch. Sloan. Bandara. Here's Morrison. And Josh Evans dribbles that one.
Yanisal Silva found out the hard way that Kelt was a strong ball carrier, but yet again Josh Evans getting himself in that outside channel. Unfortunately couldn't control ball precision, but a very, very dangerous threat for Sri Lanka because it creates that mismatch.
We saw last week the effectiveness of the Sri Lankan edge defence. And we're seeing it again. I think maybe it's time for a little bit of a rethink from the New Zealanders. Perhaps try something up the middle. The scrum's been working well. There's no real reason why a power game, pick and go, might not be on the cards here.
Sri Lanka have drifted well to cover the stepping ability. Josh Gellert going to the back.
Set, hold. Stand up. Stand up. Move here.
I think it's been a little bit scrappy the last couple of minutes. Both teams not getting that last pass.
New Zealand won't mind this though, Nigel, because they've got a substantial lead. They just want to slow the game down and keep it in the Sri Lankan half.
The scrum there is a mismatch as well. It's 8 against 7 for Sri Lanka. Need to get quick ball out to the backs. Well, New Zealanders are found short.
Kamini De Costa burning down the touchline. Just can't get it away. Now he can. Lasindu Ishan takes it into the 22. Jaya. Excellent tackle by Leiti. Now Sri Lanka need to move it quickly. Marasinghe Oh, it's been ripped. This is the danger for Sri Lanka as Tailu Faisal gets a rare touch. Murshid Zubair looking for the offload. Schwartz gets in there, but after the ruck had formed, once again Sri Lanka making the difference by cutting open New Zealand, but not able to just find that last pass.
Back. Offside. 11.
Dilush Kadange, the culprit that time in front of the kicker. The idea is good from Sri Lanka. They are going to try and play territorial, put the ball high up and put pressure, because they know New Zealand does not have the luxury of Percival, who clears it from the back.
Yeah, this is about time where the New Zealanders really need to just slow things down. Kick into the corner. Peter Schwartz, who's taken over, has a really decent boot on him. And they want to camp out here for a little while.
It's good game management from New Zealand. And Diluksha Dange just gets an early start.
Numbers. Seven.
And because of that early start, he was in a position to really make a tackle. So it did have a material impact on the game, according to the assistant. And now Yuan Pathirana coming on.
Just wait forward. Just wait.
Also seen Josh Purden come on for the New Zealanders.
Well, that's a good sub. I think Manilka Ruberu's day may have been done 5 minutes ago. But Pathirana will go into fullback, and looks like Tenuka Nanayakkara will go back to 13. And last week's backline is restored. Here's Fayola. Oh, that's a big run straight through the middle. Here's New Zealand through Ned Millen. Sorry, it's Josh Burden.
Advantage. Offside.
Kelt.
Offside.
Sri Lanka have conceded a penalty at a time where they could barely afford to do so. Giandra Dutoy. Nice hands. Morrison. Tailu Faisal coming back. Setting it up. These are the phases that New Zealand wanted. Jaya.
Offside. Hang on.
Going back for the offside penalty. Sri Lanka struggling with their discipline in the second half.
15. Offside.
Well, a massive play there by Mafia Tulu-Fisu.
Make sure you clearly cap it. On the line.
And interesting to see what the New Zealanders do here. And yeah, look at that. How ironic. They want to pack down a scrum.
Well, they are 8 against 7, so why not?
Well, Harrison really is the hype man, isn't he? Really pumping up the forwards.
He's been looking forward to the scrum all week, I can tell you.
Well, this can't put enough emphasis on it, but this is where the game is going to be won and lost. If New Zealand score here, you'd have to think they'd probably run away with it. But if the Sri Lankan front five can step up, then they will live to breathe another 20 minutes.
Set. Advantage. Outside.
Here's Tailu Faisal. The scrum penalty. Sri Lanka under pressure now. They cannot afford a third pen on the trot.
They cannot afford another player in the beaten as well. New Zealand all over them now. Another scrum called.
Fraser Harrison in the number 18 jersey.
We stay square. Shoulder out. We don't rotate it.
Charit Silva needs to come on.
Just
Pulassi Dasanayaka going out was a turning point in the game, wasn't it, Sudarshana?
Yeah, very important player for Sri Lanka because it's that number 2 or the hooker that controls the scrum. Venakodal got a slightly smaller man as well. We have Nisal Silva who's come onto the field. So got to make sure that they front up here, the Sri Lankans. The fans are not giving up. They are loud and proud behind the Tuskers.
Well, they needed that. They needed that a little earlier in the piece. Deshan Bumukti has put in a shift on this tight head side. Can he survive this push? Oh, straight swiveling his hips out that time was Harrison. Nice defense from Kavindu de Costa there. Sri Lanka will need to defend for their lives. Once again, Navin Marasinghe gives away a penalty. Long ball over. Morrison cutting in exactly like he did last year. And that's what he's been brought in for, and that's what he does. Massive lateral stepping off the left foot. It was absolutely a replay of last year's try scoring. And Francis Morrison has justified his plane ticket.
Well, there is something very unique to Kandy, and that is Kandyan dancing. And trust me, Morrison can be one of the best with those steps. Absolutely danced his way into the try line. And you know why he was flown in for this second game.
Well, just look at this. Big wide pass from Schwartz who's come in to deputise at first 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players. He's got spiders on him.
Water break. Water break.
And a pretty crucial conversion there by Swart.
Version. And here's the try. Schwartz filling in at fly half. And from what he's seen so far, Coach Cinnamon might opt to keep Percival on the bench.
Just brilliant finishing instincts that time. Morrison showcasing his fabulous footwork, and yes, you can appreciate that.
And yet another refereeing conference. Or is this a water break we're having? Sorry. Apologies to our officials.
It's a 20-minute water break, and New Zealand much the happier team going into this water break than the last one.
Well, gentlemen, we find ourselves at the same point we did last week. It's almost an identical scoreline. And we talked about that arm's length that New Zealand managed to put themselves between. And I feel like it's going to be on the Sri Lankans to really cook something up here. The New Zealanders can pretty much tackle their way to victory here in Kandy.
Absolutely. New Zealand's defense has been outstanding today. They've held Sri Lanka to just that penalty try. First mistake all tour by Josh Gellert. He was due that one.
Unfortunate, but he's had a fantastic hour of rugby so far as we see Chad Greenfield-Smith come on. And I'll tell you what, I think Sweat might have played a bit of a part in that. Would be interested to have weighed the boys before and after this game and see the difference. Because as you can tell, the perspiration is very, very high, even though it has cooled down just slightly here in Kandy.
This is chilly for us in this part of the world, Jamie.
I'll take your word for it, but I can tell you one thing. It's an awful lot hotter than where these boys have come from, especially Josh Evans on the side of the scrum there, who's come all the way from the deep south in Invercargill.
Too much weight. Okay.
Charit Silva has come
On
on.
set, don't step left, and we stay square. You're moving left. Okay. You just get the space better here, I'll come here.
I'm going to push this.
Yeah,
I'm going to
okay.
push this head out harder if he's not keeping square, yeah? You alright with that?
Square, don't step left, let's go.
At least this if I'm going to push out harder.
Deandre Dutoy telling the referee exactly what he's going to be doing. He's not happy with where Nisal Pereira is putting his head on the set. That's a much better scrum from Sri Lanka. Kandy de Costa will accelerate. And Jayat Rajaratne has had an evening to forget, unfortunately for him. And Campbell Busby tidies up. Jackson Ephraim's. De Costa really needs to spark something with all his experience. Can he do it? He's got support on either side, and oh, that's surely got to be a yellow card and a penalty try. Surely.
Yeah, a yellow card at the absolute minimum. Because there was a man running on to that ball, Jayat Rajaratne. Referee will have a look at that from all the angles that are available before he makes the decision.
Okay. No.
Both teams have been put under notice not to talk to the referee. Needs a moment. He will have to take a look.
Knock on, if it goes backwards, and then if it is a deliberate knock on, whether or not it's a penalty try. Can we just check? We just check the last pass here.
We think there was very little cover, if any, coming across. Here's Kandy de Costa's break. Rajaratne screaming for it. Shows inside to Tenuka. And then goes outside. Ben Kilt reaches for it. There's no way that ball goes backwards. And Rajaratne has a clear run in. Josh Gillett trying to say that he was cover.
There was Chad Greenfield Smith on the play there.
Are we clearly seeing that? He sticks his arm out. Yeah? And we just need to check another angle to see if the ball goes forward, yeah? Yeah. He clearly sticks his hand out, right? Yeah. Deliberate knock on? Yeah. Can we see a different angle from the side? So he clearly sticks the hand up. There's a clear touch there. We just need to see the side angle.
Yes, that ball
He clearly touches the
definitely
ball.
goes off the hands.
Yeah, he clearly sticks the hand out, but with momentum, the ball still travels forward. So it's a deliberate knock-on yellow card. Can we get the end angle, please? I just need to see if there's cover behind. We just need to make sure there's no penalty try. So we're at deliberate knock-on, yellow card.
Josh Gillett will
Just
argue
need to see
that
the
he
end
was
angle
covering.
to see if there's any cover in the back.
So they need a wider angle of the field.
They're looking for somebody. They're looking for the angle from behind Sri Lanka to see if there was any cover in front.
The angle from behind the players, towards the try line. So we can see there's a cover. We've seen this clear cover. There's a black player clearly covering from the side, right? Yeah, so we just need to get the number.
Jackson Ephraim's might have saved his team a penalty try there. Dutoy, no match for the stepping skills of. Here's Chad, puts his hand out
Clearly
there.
goes forward.
And
Number.
Sri Lankan fans will argue that there was no cover.
Can you see the number?
New Zealand fans will argue that Jackson Ephraim would have made a try saver quite easily.
Yellow boots.
And referee Morgan
No
White
boots.
will be left to make an unenviable decision.
No.
There are no defenders in front, sir.
Let me just explain. Who's captain?
Sir, me.
Who's captain and the player who knocked the ball? I'll just explain. Captain, please. You're the captain? Yeah. Okay. Both captains. Right, let me just explain. It's a deliberate knock-on. You clearly stuck your hand out. It's a line break opportunity, so it's only a yellow card. There's no penalty charge because there's a black player covering. So just yellow card, there's a player covering in the background, so no penalty charge.
So Josh Gellert got really quickly into the ear of referee Morgan White saying, "Ref, I was covering. There's a guy coming across." He knew what was coming, but he just wanted to mitigate the damage.
In saying that, DaCosta and Rajaratne kind of made a meal of that. That should have been an easy run-in. Greenfield Smith only got an absolute fingernail to that, and it looked like he didn't even need to because Rajaratne had completely overrun it.
Yes,
but
he was way too flat.
Yeah,
here we go.
Still available for Sri Lanka after an absolute melee. Charit Silva, Oliver Buckle is on. They'll need the ball in his hands now. Buckle, post-contact meters will be what they're expecting from him. They've gone short side. Rajaratne is having a shocker today.
Couple of penalties coming for Sri Lanka. New Zealand needed to be on the line.
Two option. Offside here. Offside pillar.
Options for Sri Lanka, and the forwards say no, we'll take them head on.
Quick tap was the only option. Sri Lanka's scrum has been going backwards today. And now the crowd bring their voice to the party. Venurakoda got it as really well.
Hands up.
Gellert, another important tackle. Looking to go to the blind side, but coming back to the open was Kavinda De Costa. Tinida Bandara waits over the ball. Charit Silva, but they looks like they might have held him up. Yes, they have. Great work from New Zealand, but the penalty was coming.
Careful.
Clock running, 65 minutes on our clock. Just 15 minutes to go in this game. Sri Lanka still battling. The forwards want to make sure that they have the last laugh. Karuna Tilaka.
Last feet. Try line. Hand up.
He does well to lay it back. Janit Marasinghe asking for a latch. Denuan Wickramarachin provides it. Venurakoda got a... They need to send this out surely. Oliver Buckle.
Hands up.
The Clifton College schoolboy. Now in Sri Lanka colours. Kavinda De Costa needs to get this out. They're screaming for it over on the left. Yes, Buckle. Did he get it down? And now they did. No, they haven't. Juan Patirana has absolutely butchered that. The young man in his second cap finds out why international rugby is a different kettle of fish.
Juan Patirana really had to give it out. Show and go. If you were going to go for that, you cannot go with your hands up, held up, exposing your entire mid-region, and that was making work so very easy for the defense. Brilliant work by Busby that time, affecting that move.
Time's still off.
Absolutely incredible defence by the New Zealanders, in tight and out wide. Just the indecisiveness there. Absolute hospital pass. I'm not going to blame him as much as you guys are because there wasn't much he could do with that. But that lack of imagination around the ruck, really, they needed to do better.
So this is something That happens in club rugby too often, Nigel. Just that pick and go, pick and go, pick and go, and there's really no creativity out wide.
Yeah, you're right. But Juan Patirena, he's going to learn from that. He's never going to do that again.
Time on.
Absolutely right, but you can't blame the young man too much. It's just his second cap. Barely played much club rugby this year, and now Sri Lanka need to recover. Josh Gellert runs it out of trouble. Adam Preston is on.
Let go. Let go.
Peter Schwartz, and as we thought, Jamie, he stayed on.
And with good reason, with kicks like that. I mean, fantastic work at the line out and by Gellert to pick up a cheap 15 metres. And then for Schwartz to bang them all the way back to halfway. Again, that's morale-sapping stuff for the Sri Lankans. To be knocking on the door so hard and then find themselves all the way back here.
Yeah, the forwards, and that has been a problem, hasn't it, Shanak? A couple of the times we've seen inside the 5 metres, forwards really putting the work, but not gaining enough meters to justify all the trouble that they've faced.
Yes, indeed, as Vidura Amanet now looks to put some pace on the ball. He has a nice ball over the top, but wasn't a very good one. It's a late hit on Murshid Zubair, and he's been in the wars today.
6.
Yes, Zubair coming into that first 5-8 position has gotten the distribution a little better for Sri Lanka. It's a catch-22 situation, isn't it? Because you needed Dore at number 15 to try and marshal and negotiate all the kickability that New Zealand had. But with that, you give up on the distribution skills the lad brings in.
Oh, that's a great nudge. That's a fantastic nudge from Murshid Zubair. Sri Lanka absolutely have to score from here.
Very important that Sri Lanka scores. They're down 15 points, but they will want to make sure that they keep fighting until the last minute. The fans are enjoying. They're backing the team up. Interestingly enough, Sri Lanka calling for a 5-man line out. They're not looking to contest New Zealand. They're looking for the set.
Transferred it nicely, Dittirena Bandara, and that ball is, they showed just a little bit too much of it to Josh Gellert, but Venurakoda got us forced to come away with it. And here's Mara Singha. The big man puts his head down, and Ned Millen has to make an important tackle. Viduna Amanet, Ollie Buckle hanging on to him for dear life. Vikramarachi.
Injury.
New Zealand have to be careful here. They are, for all their good defence, they are conceding penalties in their own 22 at a pretty consistent rate of knots.
We'll restart with a penalty.
Don't want to have another yellow card to close this game out and finish with 14.
Buckle struggling a bit there on the floor. It looks like he might have taken a little hit to the point of his elbow there and affected his shoulder. Doesn't look in very good shape there. It'll be a real shame because he's just come on and Sri Lanka need his aggression. Their job done. Hosikata did what he was supposed to do. Here's where the injury occurred. Yeah, it just fell on the point of his elbow there. That's again AC joint affecting. He feels like he might have dislocated that. Ah dear, that's 2 shoulder injuries for Sri Lanka that they could not afford. Pulasi Dasanayaka and Ollie Buckle.
Well, if Sri Lanka, I believe they've exhausted all their options in the 6. Kodagore is in, Silva is in, buckle now going out. Will it pave way for Gunaratna to come back in? We will have to wait and see.
Not sure you're allowed a sub for
They have no more. Subs complete. And how long on the yellow card, just so we're clear? Okay, and yellow card? 2 minutes for the yellow card. 2 minutes.
So
You have
Sri
no more
Lanka
subs, okay?
will have to play with 14 players for 8 minutes in this game when New Zealand bring back Chad Cronald-Smith. So that's really bad luck for Sri Lanka. Lost 2 key players at really inopportune moments. How do you G your team up at this point, Nigel?
I think I'm going to run my backs up and run the ball, because we've been trying to do this from the beginning of the game. We only got a penalty try.
Ball, please. Yeah, time's off.
Make a difference. Try something new.
Time on!
They roll the dice with some of the lads try and go out wide.
Oh, that looks like there might have been a dangerous collapse by Fraser Harrison there. Taking the player's legs out very clearly in that maul. But Sri Lanka once again will look to do exactly what they did a couple of minutes ago, and hopefully the result for them will be different. But this is what we do too much of in school rugby. Sudarshana just smashing away. And while school defenses may succumb after a few phases, this is a New Zealand rep side.
And also how much of fatigue you're putting on the Sri Lankans. And
Fraser Harrison just got a bit too enthusiastic at that breakdown.
They've held him up again. This is outstanding defense from New Zealand.
You've really got to question why Sri Lanka keeps going back to the forwards, because there's acres, absolute acres of space here on the outside, here at Nittawela. Sri Lanka doing the same thing, expecting a different result.
If they can't score here, they're a bunch of absolute mugs, because they have a 2-man advantage. And against a gassed New Zealand team as well.
Absolutely right. They really need to score, and they're not going to help their cause.
Well,
with
maybe
errors
that's why
like
they've
that.
been keeping it in the forwards.
New Zealand has conceded 4 yellow cards today. 2 of them simultaneously at the moment. And Sri Lanka just haven't been able to exploit. And now the yellow card comes back, so we'll have Chad Cronald-Smith.
Okay, are we good to go?
So Sri Lanka will be on even numbers for the rest of this game.
Okay.
But doesn't mean anything, because they're 15 points behind and only managed to score a penalty try.
All in. Come on. Okay, drop 1. There's miscommunication, okay? So you're walking in late, so you're going for drop 1. Okay, drop 1. Thank you. Okay, 4 man, let's go.
Jack Lady will be the target. But then when Wickramarachchi gets up, that's an important steal. Can Sri Lanka shift the numbers now? They don't need Nisal Silva running in the center of the field, but now they've got some numbers. Kavindu de Costa. Busby gets across to make an important tackle. And the smaller man eventually manages to get down. He was the ball carrier, so he was in touch.
A tough call on DeCosta. It looked like his knee had scraped the ground there.
Sri Lanka keeping on De Costa despite Dominic coming into that halfback position, because you can use Costa's experience, and you can see that getting away from the first tackler. Spinning and going. He applies his trade in Dubai against big Fijian players.
Sri Lanka with the ball for the umpteenth time inside the 22. Even numbers. Zubair. Tenuka looks for the back of the hand offload. And now all the three quarters that Nigel was screaming for to get the ball are in the ruck. Viduna Amaneth. Lasinda Vishan does well to straighten. Amaneth needs to look on the blind side. Zubair goes through one gap, gets a nice offload away to Tilina Bandar. Charit Silva now. Oh, Josh Gillett. What great work to slow that ball down. Tenuka Nanekkara runs a nice angle. Sri Lanka desperate now. Akash Madhushankar. New Zealand down their last legs, but they're holding on for dear life. They know that one try, letting Sri Lanka in, will create unnecessary pressure. Nisal Silva with a aggressive clean out.
7 offside.
Denuan Wickramaratchi. The Navy skipper is on for his Sri Lanka debut. Tilina Bandara.
7, you're good. 7 offside.
Josh Gillett has had a blinder today, Jamie.
Absolutely outstanding. As have the rest of the loose forwards. To be fair, Josh Evans, great shift in doing exactly what we talked about before kickoff around that breakdown. Suji Vosikata probably not as effective as he was last week, but still got through an absolute power of work. Double-digit carries, I feel. And then Josh Purdon coming on as well, played a big part in that big defensive play over in the other corner.
Well, but despite some very, very good performances from the Kiwis, Josh Gillett has been fabulous, haven't he? And he stayed on in these difficult conditions.
Oh, you can see the fatigue, can't you? Ben Kelt has probably not kicked a worse kick in his life. But that was just the lactic acid in the legs. 4 minutes more. Sri Lanka more than 2 scores away, Nigel. 15 points here, 11 points in the first leg, a 26-point deficit.
Sri Lanka's played all their rugby in New Zealand's half for the last 20 minutes. But it's just that we can't finish it.
Kavindu de Costa runs straight into Chad Grenfell Smith, and that's another big tackle.
Greenfield Smith might be in trouble here.
New Zealand have done fabulously well. They've braved the weather, and they've had 4 yellow cards that hampered their luck. But still managing to have a 15-point lead in this game, largely due to Sri Lanka not having good ideas to capitalize on New Zealand mistakes.
And it may well be a 5th here. Greenfield Smith trying to move in for the big hit, getting his timing just a little bit wrong. And yes, I think that might be the last we're going to see of him in this game.
Yeah, it's the 2nd yellow that is going to come through.
Okay,
and will turn out to be a red. 5 yellow cards and a red.
There's clear head contact.
It's a decent hand if you're playing poker, but not when you're playing rugby. Yes, the discipline, I don't think New Zealand can really argue, apart from perhaps Percival's one. I'm sure you guys have a different view on it than I do, but can't really argue with any of these calls on the cards. Morgan White's had a bit
yellow
to do
card.
in this game.
There's a 2nd yellow card, and it'll be a 20-minute red card.
Not warranted, but
yeah,
that's shoulder to head. Pretty easy one for White here.
And 23. And 23.
Looks like he knows what's coming.
So we have head contact, it's foul play, you could be lower. It's the 2nd yellow, so it'll be a 20-minute red card. 20-minute red card. Second yellow. Sorry?
The 20 won't matter because there's less than 4 minutes left in the game.
Wait, just wait. Just wait. Over here. Ishanka, how long on the yellow
It's
card?
a bit of history. Greenfield Smith, the first man to ever be sent off for the New Zealand under-85 team. Probably a record.
Yellow card.
Didn't
Yellow
want.
card. How long?
But he's in the books. It's not going to make any difference to this game. Does somewhat feel kind of fitting that we're going to close out with New Zealand being reduced, given how this game's gone and the amount of players that have spent time in the Sinden.
Another roll of the dice for Sri Lanka. 3 minutes to go on our clock. Can the forwards have the last laugh, or will they at least now take a look at the outside backs?
New Zealand have held Sri Lanka up twice over the line. Venurakodagada is being called to use it. Take it out is the call. Venurakodagada was told at least 3 times to use the ball, and they chose not to listen.
You had 2 chances. Use it. You need to take it out.
Very, very unfortunate there, Sri Lanka. Plenty men on the outside, and why?
You need to take it up.
Just why? 10 points to 25. Cut the deficit to at least 10 points. Because game on game, it's improvement that you're looking for. You lost the game with 11 points back in Colombo. At least cut it down to 10.
Hands off. White subs.
Well, as Jamie was saying, this New Zealand team, a week of extra preparation and a couple of new experienced players in the lineup, Ephraim's and Morrison, who have made very important contributions. And of course, Josh Evans. In addition to Josh Gellert, the 2 flankers have been really, really good today.
It's not often that you drop the man of the match from the week before and then come out with what I feel is a vastly improved performance, despite the discipline issues. And if anything, the amount of men leaving the field and still having this nice, comfortable lead just goes to show, as we see another penalty, and just goes to show at the back end of these games, this is what the difference is between these 2 teams. The decision-making in the last 20 minutes and the ability to know, hey, I've done this before. I know what to do here. It's what happens back in New Zealand with club rugby week in and week out. And you mentioned the lack of imagination on attack. Perhaps it's something that Sri Lankan rugby as a whole can probably look at in terms of coaching pathways and for the next time that these teams meet, because it'd just be a shame to see more of the same, because this is what we saw last year. This has been a better effort from the Sri Lankans. I've been really impressed by their physicality and their attitude. But it just feels like what we talked about last week. Just a bit more imagination on attack.
Here's Gellert now on the other side of the ball, carrying strongly. Murshid Zubair was maybe half a foot in front of the defensive line there. Viduna Amanet.
Offside.
Rollins is back.
Yeah, and he says, let's play, lads. We're not kicking this one out. They want to roll the dice.
Time check, please. Is that clock correct? Is that time up?
Well, you're absolutely right, Jamie, in terms of needing to improve decision making right across every strata of rugby we play here. And Nigel, you played your junior rugby in Africa, and obviously a few differences in coaching the basics here and there.
Yeah, definitely a few basics here and there, but we're not far out. No.
Not straight, outside forward. Let's go.
Well, it wasn't straight, and this game will end in a bit of a damp squib. It hasn't entertained like we hoped it would, but it was a really gritty arm wrestling performance from New Zealand's under-85s, which will give them the Sir Graham Henry Trophy for the second year in a row. But Sri Lanka will take a lot away from this performance.
Yeah, we spoke about who won the Tudors for the Tuskers.
Nice ball to Kavindu De Costa, who's done so much running today, but Campbell Busby gets back and makes another try saver. Akash Madhushankar couldn't get among the tries like he did last week. But Sri Lanka, can they finish with a flourish? The kick was for Dange. Oh, and it's just too far, and that'll be the game. Morgan White will be the most relieved man in Nittawela that game has come to an end. He's had to show 6 cards and have as many talkings to with the 2 captains. But in the end, the Nittawela crowd have been treated to a real battle of attrition. And the Josh Gellert-led New Zealand forwards have won it in the end.
Despite what we talked about the discipline, and you know, there's things that in a debrief for this New Zealand team they're going to look back on and wish they'd done differently. That is a very satisfying result. They came into this series knowing full well that Sri Lanka would be more physical, would be more direct, more willing to use their size advantage. And that's exactly what happened. And so to guts it out like that, I think the beers are going to be tasting pretty good right now. But once again, you have to hand it to the tour organisers, the sponsors, for making this possible, because, as I said at the start, this whole thing seems like a bit of a fever dream, really. A New Zealand under-85KG team made up of club battlers up against a test side in front of an incredible crowd that's now invading the field. Incredible, passionate crowd. And an incredible rugby town. It's been an absolute privilege to be here. And on behalf of the New Zealand team, I want to say thanks for having us. Thank you for having me up here. I know we haven't agreed on everything, but that's what's great about rugby, is that we can go through this, shake hands at the end, and go and have a beer and have a laugh about it.
Absolutely, Jamie. And on behalf of Sri Lanka as a whole, thank you for coming. Yourself, Kieran Reid, and of course this New Zealand under-85 team, who have really toughed this one out. It was ugly rugby in the end, but it doesn't matter because they've got the big W, and that's what they wanted. But yes, big thanks to former Sri Lanka cap Intishan Marika, and of course very own Sri Lanka legend Priyantha Ekanayaka for helping organize this tour. And of course Sir Graham Henry, who I'm sure is watching this broadcast on the other end, for being the live wire, the pioneer behind this under-85 tour, which hopefully will really rejuvenate this under-85 category in club rugby in New Zealand as well. And hopefully will galvanize world rugby into realizing that weight class rugby really is a thing, Sudarshana.
Oh, absolutely, Shanaka. That's something which will open up this game to so many more around the world. And the more you share this oval-shaped ball game, the more joy that you have. And like Jamie, I think, mentioned in that fireside chat with Kieran Reid, while we speak about how important it is and how wonderful it is to have these lads so that Sri Lanka can benefit from it, it's also wonderful to hear that it has made a real wave and new energy for the 85 setup back in New Zealand as well.
And let's face it, boys, the possibilities are endless for this grade. Now that it's proven that it's worked, we've got thousands of people on the field right now. And to take this to another country and say, hey, this could be you guys next year.
Absolutely, it would be a fantastic opportunity across Asia, of course, the emerging force in world rugby. And a huge thank you also to Melbourne, the title sponsors of this wonderful tour. There he is, the double World Cup winner.
And let's not forget John Alfaro, another World Cup winner.
Fabulous, isn't it, to have all these fans getting that opportunity to rub shoulders with some world celebrities here at Nittawela. It's not only rugby and sports that are benefiting from this union, Jamie. Sri Lanka is a beautiful country and has some of the most hospitable people in around the world, which we take a lot of pride from. I know your calendar has been pretty packed, and really do hope most of you will return to explore so many places in this island.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're off tomorrow, and it's going to be really hard to leave. It's been an absolutely outstanding fortnight for everybody involved in this tour. For the guys coming back and for the ones who are here for the first time, including myself. I can't speak highly enough of the hospitality. Can't speak highly enough of the tourist attractions here, some of which I was fortunate enough to do, and a lot more that I wish I had some time to do. And so if you're planning a holiday, I can definitely recommend Sri Lanka. Beautiful place.
It's a little late in New Zealand, but all of you who are joining us in, it's an open invite. There is a rugby crazy island in the Indian Ocean that you need to visit to, and attesting to that is one of your very own who's been spoiled the last 2 weeks, enjoyed the food as well. I did see you having a great time at Nittawela on the way up to Kandy.
Well, I certainly wasn't alone in enjoying the food, I can tell you that much. As we look at the highlights now of the second half, and the New Zealanders really need to strike first, and they did so, and it was a fantastic effort here by Roland. Great strength, squeezing off the back of that maul there, and that was a really important try. It's a controversial moment here.
Push after.
2 yellow cards shown, including one to New Zealand captain Jared Percival, who obviously wasn't very happy with it. Squeeze the scoreline back up to 18-10. But this was the moment here. Francis Morrison, one of the best looking players in New Zealand rugby, he'll tell you. He's never met a mirror he didn't like. And a bit more controversy here. Yellow card for Chad Greenfield-Smith, although it was a fair call. Debate over whether it was a penalty try or not. And this is where Sri Lanka really need to strike back. But we talked about it, just lack of ideas. And it was the same story as last week. And the yellows kept coming. This time Fraser Harrison came charging in. And then Chad Greenfield-Smith unfortunately picking up his second yellow. One of the friendliest, nicest guys off the field, ironically, red carded.
Both the times there was absolutely no malice. It was technical yellow cards.
No, and you can see the respect and love between the two teams as we await the trophy presentation. Probably need to get it done here because there are no lights at Nittawela Stadium and it's getting a bit dark.
Yeah, this part of the country gets dark quite fast. The presentation ceremony, not very easy, isn't it? When you have very passionate fans who want to get in the middle, get involved.
But a big thank you to the Sri Lankan Army, who've sent out an entire division of troops to make sure this runs smoothly.
Well, Anna, the media manager for the New Zealand team, will attest to the fact that last time around, when they first came down, the first game was played here at Nittawela, most of the players found it harder getting out from the ground after the game was over than it was during the match. They were mobbed for selfies, they were mobbed for autographs, and they were showered with a lot of Sri Lankan love.
Yeah, one of the most fantastic things has been the interaction with the fans over these last couple of weeks. Plenty of selfies, plenty of autographs, and for me, a lot of really rewarding chats about the All Blacks, about rugby in Sri Lanka, about under 85s. Really great stuff with a lot of really knowledgeable people. You mentioned that speaking event that I hosted the other night. As we look at the scorecard here, 3 tries to 1. Player of the match, Francis Morrison, and well, it took him a while to get going, but when he did, it was worth the wait, you'd have to say.
Well, definitely the owner of the most memorable moment of that game with that fabulous try where he was equal to the world-famed Kenyan dancer. Lovely stepping. But one may argue, I may be biased being a forward, that Josh Grant absolutely led the charge.
It would have been an absolutely tight race to pick that man of the match, I think, because there were some absolutely outstanding calls. And Gallett, yep, once again backing up from last week as well. Vice captain, had to do a lot of captaincy as well. 80 minutes. Josh Evans, great at the breakdown.
Yeah,
thought Jackson Ephraim, really good at halfback.
Justin Evans, I can understand why he's so very highly rated as well. Like you mentioned in the pre-game show, coming in and really making an impact in that number 6 jersey. Not very easy jersey to fill in, isn't it? Broden came on in the second half and really showcasing the depth this New Zealand under 85 team has.
Special mention too to Peter Swart. Had to play a large percentage of that game at first 5 after Percival's sin binning, and did a fantastic job, I thought. Big boot, good decisions, and after he'd put in an excellent shift on defence in the first half.
Well, the High Commissioner, His Excellency David Pike, what an ambassador of the oval-shaped ball game. He speaks rugby very fluently, and that's a language our Sri Lankans understand very well.
Well, if you boys ever need someone to come and join you in the commentary box, I'd recommend him. He's a very knowledgeable rugby man. Been awesome hanging out with him over the past couple of weeks, and looking forward to having a beer with him later. As we all will, the community around this team has been really looking forward to this game, to get this done, to return back to New Zealand with silverware, like all teams in black jerseys do. You can see there John Afoa, World Cup winner. He's been training these boys hard. He has not slackened off. He's brought an all black attitude into this team, and he's demanded a lot from these players, and it's paid off.
What a pleasure to have an All Black Rugby World Cup winner in your coaching staff. Had a chat with Simon Siak, and he said the quality that he brings in was fabulous. Oh, we will now cross over to the presentation ceremony. Shana Kamarasinghe have finally made his way there.
Check. Good evening, Nittawela. A big round of applause once again. What a game we had today. Please put your hands together for the visiting New Zealand under-85s and the Sri Lanka Tuskers. What a game, what a series. It was a 26-point victory in the end over the course of 2 games, but that doesn't signify how close both those games were. New Zealand were really tested this time, and congratulations to the Tuskers for a wonderful improvement on the inaugural Sir Graham Henry Tour of Sri Lanka. On behalf of Sri Lanka Rugby, it's my pleasure to warmly welcome you all to the presentation ceremony now, and we are honored to have a distinguished panel of guests with us this evening. May I now please invite our dignitaries to the stage. The Honourable Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports, Mr. Sunil Kumaragamage, and of course some rugby royalty, former double World Cup winner and ex-All Black captain, Mr. Kieran Reid. He wasn't a bad third rower in his time either. President of Sri Lanka Rugby, Mr. Pavitra Fernando. Chairperson of our title sponsors, the Maliban Group of Companies, Ms. Kumudika Fernando. The Group CEO of Maliban, Mr. Ravi Jayawardena. The Group Head of Corporate Communications, Mr. Posita Pereira. Chairman of the National Sports Council, Mr. Priyantha Ekanayaka. Chairman of the Tour Organizing Committee, Mr. Rohan Abekun. Tour Coordinator, New Zealand Under-85 Kilogram Tour, Mr. Imti Marika. And Executive Director and CEO of Sri Lanka Rugby, Mr. Hassan Singhavansa. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your patience. And we now move on to the trophy presentation ceremony. And to award the first presentation today, I would like to invite the Group CEO of Maliban, Mr. Ravi Jayawardena, please to step forward to award the Player of the Match of the Kandy leg. Who do you think it was, guys? No? No guesses, but ladies and gentlemen, the selectors have chosen with a really, really slim margin the winning try scorer, Francis Morrison. Fresh off the boat, flown in for some reinforcements, been playing touch rugby for some warm-up, but Francis Rocky Morrison is our man of the match for this leg. Round of applause for our man of the match for the Kandy leg, ladies and gentlemen. We also have a Player of the Series award. And Mr. Jayawardena, if you can stay on to give that award away as well. I'm sorry, Kiran, you need to step forward to give that one away. Ladies and gentlemen, our Player of the Series for the damage he caused in the second half of the first match and the first half of the second match, Suji Vosikata. About 40 of his 85 kilos are in his arms, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be able to lift that trophy pretty easily. Suji Vosikata off the bench and in the tunnel today. Ladies and gentlemen, we're also very honored to have a gentleman with us who will now be recognized. And I'd like Mr. Hassan Singhavanta and the tour organizer, former national player, Mr. Inti Marika, please to step forward to give a special award of recognition to a two-time world champion, the 5th most capped All Black of all time, the 2nd most capped All Black captain of all time. Please give a round of Nittawela applause to Kieran Reid. And now if I can ask Mr. Rohan Abekun, the chairman of the tour organizing committee, former national player himself, to give a recognition to the New Zealand under 85 kilogram team. If I can have the manager, Grant, to come up and receive this award, this recognition token. And to be accompanied by Jared Percival, the skipper. Thank you very much. And we have the medals to be presented to the New Zealand under 85 kilogram team. And I would like to ask the group head of corporate communications of the Melbourne group, Mr. Posita Pereira, please to step forward. And Jared, if you can lead your team up to receive their medals, please. Medals, guys, so please come on up. Thank you very much to the New Zealand team and Miss Posita Pereira. Can I ask you please to make way for the Sri Lankans before you pick up your big trophy, guys. And to present the medals to the Sri Lanka Tuskers, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite the President of the National Sports, Chairman of the National Sports Council, Mr. Priyantha Ekanayake, to be accompanied by President of Sri Lanka Rugby, Mr. Pavitra Fernando. Ladies and gentlemen, led by Lasindu Ishan Karunatilaka and Tarindu Chaturanga, please put your hands together for the home team, the Sri Lanka Tuskers. An outstanding performance by Kara Ahali and his team, getting much closer to New Zealand than we did last year. And you'll be in a game next year as well, lads. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. Ladies and gentlemen, a final round of applause for the Sri Lanka Tuskers, led by Lasindu Ishan, Karunatilaka and Tarindu Chaturanga, coached by Dushant Luke, Lasinta De Costa and Terence Henry. What a wonderful, gallant performance by the home team. And now for the big one. For the Sir Graham Henry Trophy, for the second year in a row, I would like to invite the Honourable Minister of Sports and Youth Affairs, Honourable Minister Sunil Kumar Gatnage, together with the chairperson of our title sponsors, the Maliban Group, Ms. Kumudika Fernando. Ladies and gentlemen, please, one final round of applause for the New Zealand under-85s.
New Zealand under-85 team, second year running. What joy this team has brought, not only to the Kiwis, but to this island nation as well.
And up goes the Sir Graham Henry Trophy in a second. Jared Percival, he's handing it to 1, 2, 3. Oh, what a moment for this group.
Yeah, from the first whistle to the final play, this has been rugby played in the correct spirit and enough edge to keep everybody honest. And the lads celebrating. Jamie, it's a wonderful occasion for the game of rugby. Rugby has been bringing people of different nations together, and what an occasion to celebrate not just the win but the entire experience.
Absolutely. My heart's full right now from being here for 2 weeks. Hearing Hukimai ringing out across a rugby ground in Sri Lanka, something that we wouldn't even dreamed of just a couple of years ago. So amazing to be here, amazing to be with you. And once again, thank you so much for everyone who made this possible. Malaban, Sri Lanka Airways for getting us here, Cinnamon Hotels, City of Dreams, and to both of these teams for making it such a memorable occasion.
Well, Jamie, pleasure has been all ours, and hosting all you guys, learning, enjoying, having fun. As we take another look at the key stats of the concluded game, 10 points to 25 is how it ended. Sri Lanka with 1 penalty try and 1 penalty. New Zealand running in 3 tries, 2 converted with 2 penalties to go from Jared Percival's boot. Player of the match, Francis Morrison, who did come through in the last minute and really changed it up for New Zealand. Well, as the lights dim and echoes fade, one thing, Jamie, is absolutely certain. Games like this leave a big mark not only on the scoreboard but with every single person who was involved in it. From all of us here, Ayubowan and Hairera.
When tea meets sparkle, refreshment gets a whole new twist. Introducing sparkling iced teas, lightly carbonated, crafted from carefully brewed tea, and infused with natural flavors for a clean, crisp taste in every sip.
Now Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samaging pirimin sadahamai. Now Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samaging pirimin sadahamai.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence. Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samaging pirimin sadahamai. Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samaging pirimin sadahamai. Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samaging pirimin sadahamai.
Love rugby.
Live rugby.
Prima Kotumi Pantamari.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samaging pirimin sadahamai.
When tea meets sparkle, refreshment gets a whole new twist. Introducing sparkling iced teas, lightly carbonated, crafted from carefully brewed tea, and infused with natural flavors for a clean, crisp taste in every sip. When tea meets sparkle, refreshment gets a whole new twist. Introducing sparkling iced teas, lightly carbonated, crafted from carefully brewed tea, and infused with natural flavors for a clean, crisp taste in every sip.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samaging pirimin sadahamai.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
Love rugby.
Live rugby.
Prima Kotumi Pantamari.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samaging pirimin sadahamai.
Love rugby.
Live rugby.
Prima Kotumi Pantamari. Love rugby.
Live rugby.
Prima Kotumi Pantamari.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
When tea meets sparkle, refreshment gets a whole new twist. Introducing sparkling iced teas, lightly carbonated, crafted from carefully brewed tea, and infused with natural flavors for a clean, crisp taste in every sip.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samaging pirimin sadahamai.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samaging pirimin sadahamai.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
Live rugby.
Prima Kotumi Pantamari.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samaging pirimin sadahamai.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samaging pirimin sadahamai.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
stand by for opener.
Sri Lanka's #1 sports channel, ThePapare.
3, 2, 1, roll.
This is Sri Lankaවේ අංක ක්‍රීඩා නාලිකාව ThePapare සමගින්.
Welcome back to ThePapare.
Welcome to the live broadcast from ThePapare.
Good luck, guys. Good luck, everyone.
ThePapare, Sri Lanka's #1 television sports channel.